so families can focus on their child's health. For more than 2 decades, the Jade and Fred Foundation has stood by hundreds of families across our state in their darkest days, living out their mission of making a difference one life at a time. Visit jadeandfred.org to donate, sponsor, or volunteer at one of their community events that raise critical funds for these kids. That's JADYNFRED.org, because no Montana family should face a medical crisis alone.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Another crazy day around here, but we got plenty of feedback for you. At least I think so. I'm trying to still compartmentalize. It's a little bit interesting because Bobby Kennedy, the new head Grizz football coach, by the way, not other Bobby Kennedy, they just hosted his first press conference as the new Grizz head football coach. And when I say just, well, it started at 2. Bobby Kennedy's a talker, so it went till about 2:45, 2:50. It was in the Canyon Club. I thought it was up at the Sky Club, where the press conferences normally are. So I had parked on the side of campus by the Adams Center. So it's, probably a good 15-minute walk. So by the time you get to the car, then I had to Zoom. So I got in my car. I went and did a Zoom with Sean Howe, now the departing defensive coordinator at Montana State, and I just wanted to get him before he leaves. He's out. He's going to the NFL. He's going to go coach the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's leaving tomorrow, so I wanted to get him in the can. We'll play that for you next week sometime. His reactions to Montana State's national championship and the opportunity he has now at the highest level of football. So then, right when I get done with Howe, I got about 20 minutes to turn the sound around for Hayden and Jeff in the back, and then and also drive here from where I was doing the Zoom. So I haven't really gotten a chance to really absorb what I thought of what we heard here today. So we're going to do it together. We're going to learn together. We will play you 3 sound bites from Bobby Kennedy's press conference, give you some impressions, and then we have a whole jam-packed show of winter sports talk, because that's the season that it is, and I just never had a football coaching bonanza like this in February. This has never happened. This has never been the timing of this. So I went about my week before this all went down on Wednesday with Bobby Houck retiring, just making you the normal slate of shows like we would during the first week of February, right? It's Super Bowl week. We have a bunch of Super Bowl interviews. We have some Super Bowl interviews coming up for you tomorrow, caught up with Alexa Coyle, the former Grizz soccer player. Why her? Well, she's the director of marketing for the Seattle Seahawks. So looking forward to hearing from Alexa tomorrow. And there was a bunch of stuff we were supposed to play yesterday that we're going to play today. So we will intermittently talk about Bobby Kennedy and the news of the week, which is the news of the year so far, no question, other than Montana State winning the national championship, of course. But certainly on the Grizz side of things, it's some of the biggest news that the athletic department has experienced in the last several years. So we'll continue to intermittently talk about that, but we also have a whole slate of guests coming up for you here as well. We'll hear from Matt Logie, the head men's basketball coach for Montana State. We're also going to hear from Avery Waddington, who is a sophomore for the Lady Grizz basketball team. We're also going to hear from Tricia Bidford, who's the head coach of Montana State's women's basketball team, too. I don't generally like to do, if we're going to do men's and women's hoops, I don't generally like to do multiple men's, multiple women's in one day. If we're going to do 2 hoops interviews, I like to do 1 men, 1 women, 1 cat, 1 Grizz, preferably. But it all got jammed up. It all got rolled in. So we got to get rolling because we got to get to all this stuff. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I am Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Missoula Broadcasting is locally owned and operated, as is Grizzly Disposal. They have one bin recycling available now. If you'd like to add it, or you'd like to make the switch and add it, call 406-541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. It's a Thursday. That means it's a Thursday. That means it's also Grizz basketball Thursday. We got Grizz basketball tickets for you. We got the digital tickets now. We're in the new age. Hayden's handling this for us, so there's no ticket transfers that need to be had. If you win, you don't have to come to the station to get the tickets anymore. We'll just text them right to your phone. So if you'd like to go to the game tonight, 7 o'clock, Eastern Washington. Eastern's down a little bit this year, but the Eastern did beat the Grizz last time they played. That's one of Montana's only their 3 league losses so far this year. So if you would like to go to the game tonight, text us, 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Oh, and how can I forget? We have our Class C Spotlight coming up today as well. Our Class C Spotlight, Jeff Safford took care of the interview, and it features Jason Wolf. He's the head coach of the Scobie boys basketball team. They are off to an undefeated start. They are one of just 3 undefeated teams left in the state of Montana. They are number 1 in Class C right now. The Class C tournament is coming to Missoula this upcoming March, so we're highlighting some of the best storylines from there. But if you'd like tickets to the Grizz basketball game, 406-888-1029, and also we're going to give you a chance to win some draft works as part of Thursdays a little bit later on here in the show. So stay tuned for that, but remember that number, 406-888-1029. Bobby Kennedy officially announced as the head coach of the Grizz football team. I'm so interested in this hire because on one hand, I think given the timing of Bobby Hauck's retirement and the amount of time that the Grizz had to sort of land the plane, so to speak, I don't really know who else you hire. Like I think you ask Brett Pease, the offensive coordinator, and Tim Hauck, the defensive coordinator, but I think those guys are both right there at the end of their careers, getting towards the end of their careers. And I just have gotten the impression that their desire to be head coaches at this exact moment, maybe they don't want that. I can't put words in those guys' mouths, but I do wonder if that was a possibility or not. But either way, then I think that when you go to what do you need as the Grizz head coach, first of all, you need and want somebody that's going to keep the staff intact, because I think the way that you keep the team intact is by keeping the staff intact. And that is what is happening. Bobby Kennedy talked today. First of all, the official announcement of Brett Myers, the offensive line coach. We reported that around here a while ago. I think maybe close to a month ago. I heard about it when we were in Nashville. Let's see the timestamp. I reported it on January 22nd. So a couple weeks ago, that Brett Myers was the new offensive line coach. We talked about it on the show even before I put it on social media, though. So Kennedy did address that. He also said that the staff would stay intact. I reported last night on the So Schmeds that because Kennedy moves obviously from receivers to head coach, that Eric Price, the offensive analyst this last year, that he will be coaching receivers. So they're in the market for a special teams coordinator. They're in the market for a running backs coach. But if you want to keep the roster intact, you keep the staff intact first. Then I think you got to hire the offensive guy that is the most prone to be a head coach. And I think that's exactly what they did at Bobby Kennedy. So we'll see how he does. But the whole news here is that it is a one-year contract and that he is not an interim coach, but that he has an opportunity to earn maybe a long-term contract depending on how it goes. Without further ado, Bobby Kennedy, his debut here on Nuanez Now. Here is just about 9 minutes of his opening statement. He just talked sort of just off the cuff to get things started. We'll get to a couple other sound bites here in just a little while, but here's Bobby Kennedy from earlier today.
First of all, let me say thank you, right? Thank you to Kent and the other senior staff that I know were huddling on short notice. to try to find, you can't replace Bobby Houck, right? Like, not only is he a great head coach, or I should say was a great head coach, okay, but also the best special teams coach in America. And on a personal note, because I have the microphone, all right, I want to say thank you to Stacy and their beautiful daughter and to Bobby, because when Bobby called me last July, I think it was about 5 or 6 days until training camp, and he said, "Hey, I just lost my wide receiver coach, and can you come to Montana?" And I was actually eating with my wife, and I looked at her, I said, "Is it okay if I go to Montana?" And she goes, "Go, I'll be fine." So you can tell something about our relationship, right? She's definitely a football wife. But Stacy, thank you, because not many of you know this, but I've been their roommate for the past 8 months. I've been living in their basement. And I got to tell you this, I don't know if my wife would open up her house like you have. And I appreciate you. I love Bobby and your family. And so thank you. I really appreciate it. The other thing that I really wanted to touch on was, we've got great young men on our team, okay? And great accomplishments last year, but that is in the past. What we did, what we didn't do, that's in the past. I want to move forward with this team. We've got great guys, okay? Guys that come to work every day, great character guys. And trust me when I say this, okay? They are invested in moving this program forward. And I just want you guys in the back to know how much I appreciate you and your support. I've asked guys the last, 48 hours or whatever to stop by and coming into my office and really getting to know some of the guys. I knew them, but I want to really know them now, right? Because when you're a position coach, you're so focused on your group, what your guys do, and this and that. And my pledge to you guys, everybody in this room, right, that's a player here at the University of Montana, is I'm going to know you personally, and I'm going to invest in this team and invest in you and try to move this thing forward. Okay, not try. We're going to move this thing forward. Thank you. Okay. So I also want to say this, okay, about our staff. Our football staff is a great football staff, and take it from a guy that's been on many football staffs, okay? Our leadership, and obviously it started with Bobby, but there's Jimmy, there's Keaton, there's great people that have their hands in this program, okay? And I'm glad the university, number one, decided to choose me, okay, because I've looked forward to this day for a long time, but also to keep us together, okay, because, going down the line, on offense, when I came into this place on short notice, okay, and what I knew about Montana was Bobby Houck was the head coach, that I played for Joe Glenn at Northern Colorado, okay, and I knew football was really, really important to Grizz fans, but also this state. And I mean, it's Montana football, right? I mean, it has a ring to it. It says something. And so I want to thank our staff for welcoming me, because let me tell you this, on short notice, it's not the easiest thing to come in, learn the players. Brent Pease, okay, I believe he's the best offensive coordinator in America. I really do. Like what he does, what we do on offense is truly special and innovative, okay? And I want to thank him, number one, and Rob Fennessy and Justin Green, who was a great support to me, Cam McFarland, like great guys on the staff, okay? But also, what was really helpful was when I was getting set here and when I was coming in, our defensive guys, right? Like they embraced me, right? They welcomed me. And that's what, to me, Montana's all about, okay? That you can be from other places, around the country, recruits, this and that, and know that, trust me when I say this, We are going to recruit Montana, and I'm going to be in as many schools, if not every school in the state. You're going to see me. I'm going to be visible. But we have a staff that does that too, that has a great reputation in the state. And when I say that we are going to make Montana a priority, it is a priority. It's a priority for us to recruit the good players in the state and to be in every school and have UM represented. So know that. That's something that we're going to do. And like I said, I could go on and on about our staff. I could go on and on about our players, okay? Because we have good guys in this room. We have good guys on this team. And like I said before, they are willing, right? And it's our job as coaches, right, to keep pushing them and to keep getting them better every day. And like I said about our staff, we have the right staff to do that. So I'm really excited. And I mentioned, right, our defensive staff with Roger Cooper, Tim Houck, Mike Linehan, Tim McLeod, like great guys. You can be proud of those guys, okay? The other thing that I'd like to say is this to our players and our team, okay? And it comes from our staff, but it's also going to be you guys, right? We're going to represent the University of Montana the right way. And you have, okay? You have. And Coach Houck has done a masterful job, okay? A masterful job with these guys and what we do and what we represent. That's going to continue. We are going to get our degree from the University of Montana. We're going to go to class, represent ourselves in the right way. But let's not forget about football, okay? Let's not forget about football. Our goal, okay, is to win the Big Sky Championship, but ultimately the national championship. And that's what we are setting dead aim for, okay? And trust me when I say this, okay? As long as I'm in this position, that's going to be my goal. That's going to be my purpose every day. And every day when I coach these guys, and they are going to get our best as a staff and my best as the head coach. But know this, okay? This is going to be my last job, okay? Whether it's long, let's make it be long, okay? Okay? Or however long it is, let me say that, right? Like I want this to be my last job, okay? I want to do it with these guys, and I want to do it with these players in back, and I want to do it with the great Grizz fans and the people of Montana. So thank you. I don't know if you can tell, I am jacked, okay? I am jacked, and I am ready. I'd say we're ready to get to work, but trust me when I say this, we've been working, okay? And once again, I love the Houcks, and I can't repay you enough. Thank you, Bobby, for retiring, okay? But also, I wanted to recognize two people that are here, and I almost ended without doing this, but I got my lifelong best friend here, and I apologize that my wife is not here, okay? You will see her, okay, LaShonda. You will see her. Love my life, okay? I hope she says that about me. But two of my dear friends, my best friend from kindergarten all the way till now, Bruce Lippian is here, and his wife Susan. They heard about this, and they said, we are getting on a plane today. And they've been here 3 or 4 times. But it was important for them to be here. It was important for me to have your support. And thank you to the players that are here. Because, listen, this thing doesn't work without you guys, okay? And you guys are important. You guys are special. And let's get to work. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Bobby Kennedy's opening statement from his induction, what do you say? Introduction, sorry, not induction. I cover so many Hall of Fame events. Introductory press conference from earlier today. It's Nuanez Now 102.9, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. How about some of the logistics of this? Obviously, Bobby Kennedy was the wide receivers coach of Montana 2 days ago, and now he's the head coach. How did it all go down? I mean, it's been 38 hours since this happened, basically. That's it. Bobby Houck called Kent Haslam at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. Told him, hey, I can't do it anymore. So what was it like from Kennedy's perspective? Here's from Frank Gagola, the Missoulian, asking Kennedy about his logistics of how this all fell into place.
Coach, when were you first asked about the possibility of taking over as head coach? How long did it take you to say yes? And why do you want to be a head coach when you've been a position coach your entire coaching career?
Yes, so I'll answer that last question first. I've had the opportunity to be a head coach before. Okay, I did not take that opportunity because I was at a really good place, and I was experiencing not only my position but as a team some incredible success, and I wanted to make another run at something that I thought was really special. But I've interviewed for a number of jobs. I finished second a couple times. I think they really screwed up. Okay, but anyway, I've wanted to be a head coach. You know, like I told you, my friend Bruce Lippian is here from Austin, Texas, and I remember when I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, we used to ride our bikes up to the Buffs practice almost every day, and whether it's Chuck Fairbanks or Bill McCartney, I was like, that's what I want to do, okay? And I always believe this, right? Whether you're a head coach or you're an assistant, right? How you have an impact on players is most important, okay? My role thus far has to be an assistant. I think I've had a really positive impact on a lot of players. I talk all the time, and you'll see it, I wear it every day. Okay, my guys know this. And it says right now, it says Montana wide receivers, the family you choose. It's kind of one of my mottos. But wherever I've been, okay, they chose me, I chose them, we chose each other, so let's make it special, right? And that's been my goal. But having an impact on players has always been my priority.
And then just back to the timeline, just when were you first asked about it, and how long did it take you to decide this is something you want to do, and just how did you come to that decision?
Yeah, well, it was relatively soon after Bobby talked to Kent, and I think the process. I think our senior staff had a process that they had to go through, but it was I would say relatively soon. And to answer your question, how long did it take? Yes. Okay. So this is one of the premier jobs, if not the premier job, right? I believe in college football. Okay. And so to me, I mean, I've been hitting the head, but it doesn't take me that long to say yes. Okay. And also, to be quite frank, my goal too was to do the best thing for our players and to keep the staff together. And I think we have a great staff. And so that was another reason why I wanted to do it, and the reason why I said yes so quick. And Kent assured me of that. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
You know, obviously, Coach Houck yesterday mentioned it's been changing landscape, right, the last several years in college football, and just kind of where it stands. Just, you know, I wanted your thoughts on where it is and, you know, how you maybe might attack some of these challenges where, you know, things change every day, and what college football is today and how you kind of view it.
Yeah. So here's the fact of the matter, right? Right now that the transfer portal and NIL is here, right, for the foreseeable future. The thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is people, I'm going to get in the portal, And you read about all the guys that signed for this big money or this or that, and, you know, hey, I'm going here. The guys you don't read about are the guys that didn't make it, right? And so remember this, right? There's risk. Like, we went out and we got a bunch of guys in the portal that we think are really good, and we're glad to have them. Okay. We also recruited a bunch of high school guys, right, that we really like and are glad to have them. Okay. But what I would say the landscape of college football right now, it's not for me to judge whether it's right or wrong. It's the system that we have. Okay. And we're going to work within those boundaries. And I always believe this, right? When you're at a special place, when you're at a really good place and you have a chance to do special things, okay, the grass isn't always greener, okay? Like I mentioned to you or everybody before, I had a chance. I'm not going to name the place, but I had a chance to be a head coach before. But I was at a special place, and I didn't think that was as good of an opportunity or that I was going to be there that long if I took that job. Not that I couldn't get it done, right? But the fact of the matter is, right, you've got to have support, and you've got to have people that are willing to support you and your goals and your team, your team to be really good. We've had that here, right? I mean, there's no secret why Montana is the University of Montana, right? Why this place has been good, okay? And so the NIL thing, like, I think it's good. I think it's fair here, okay, with what we're doing. Doesn't mean we can't change in the future or this or that's not going to happen. But trust me when I say this, the grass isn't always greener. And I said this when Coach Houck asked me to come here, okay? I found pretty green
grass at the University of Montana. Bobby Kennedy joining us here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Probably got to get into this next one so we can stay on time here. So let's just roll. Here is Bobby Kennedy on some of his coaching influences.
Coach, you've been in football your whole life. You've said you wanted to be a head coach one day. How would you describe just what this moment means to you right
now? Special, right? Because, opportunities, they come and they go. But when you feel that you're a fit, and like I said, that had to do with Bobby, right, and Stacy, and the offensive staff, Coach Pease, and the defensive staff, and the players, right? Like, it was apparent to me, okay, like when you enter a new staff, especially at late notice, okay, that you're like, yeah, this is going to work, right? And not to bore you all, but as training camp went on into the season, when I got home for Thanksgiving during our first bye, and I think I told you that my wife said, "You really love it there, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And she goes, "Do you feel like you're a fit?" I said, "Yeah, I think I'm a great fit." But once again, that doesn't happen without players embracing you and with the staff embracing you. And so I'm most thankful for those guys because, like I said, this is a special place, and it kind of reminds me of where I grew up in Boulder, very similar, right? It's like this is a special place, and I'm really fortunate to be standing here. But have I wanted to be a head coach? Absolutely. And tell you the truth, I think I was a good assistant. Was I okay? Okay. I think Stace? Okay, I think I was a good assistant, but I always thought like managing people and getting people on the same page and not getting them to do what you want them to do, but getting them to do what's best for them and what's best for the team. So yeah, I think I've been able to do that as a position coach, and now I'm looking forward to doing it as a head coach.
What have you learned from being around a lot of different head coaches, and what kind of attributes do you think you were going to bring to the table as a head coach?
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. I've been around some great guys. Starting with, we can go down the line from John Malkovich to Joe Paterno, to Joe Tiller, Jim Caldwell, Rick Neuheisel, like so many guys. Kirk Ferentz, John Embry, David Shaw. Right? I think I mentioned Kirk Ferentz. Like I've been around great head coaches and Mac Brown. Gosh, I'd hear about that one now. Okay, like Mac Brown, like Mac. Right? He was a guy that you want to talk about managing people and pushing people the right way. Like I take that from him. David Shaw, right, and Jim Caldwell, such smart guys and like player driven. Right, player driven. And if you ask me like what I want to be player driven. I want to be Montana driven. Okay, and what's best for the University of Montana? What's best for our players? Okay, those are the things. But taking bits and pieces. Bobby Houck. God, how can I forget Bobby Houck? Okay, right? Let me tell you, as good as any guy on that list. Okay, as good as any guy on that list, and like being around special people. And being around what I think are some of the legends in the game, okay? Yeah, right? Hopefully that's had a big impact on me, and I can take bits and pieces of things that maybe I really, really liked and things that maybe were a little unique. How's that? Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On that note, what sort of things have you learned this last year from Coach Houck just about Montana football?
Yeah, so the culture, right? Like there's a way we do things, and the schedule, and being consistent, and the toughness of how we practice, right? And I'm going to tell this to the players, okay? And, you know, the things that are important, trust me when I say this, we're going to do when Coach Houck is done, okay? But, like, I see his organization and his detail, his fire, okay? I'd like to say that he's got fire, but, you know, I got a little juice too, okay? And so I've taken away so much. And the other thing I'll say too is being his roommate the last 8 months, right? It's been good to pick his brain, right? And to see the other side of him at home. But I will say this, okay? I told him, I said, listen, if we're going to live together, okay, when I come home, you're not the head coach, okay? Like, we're roommates. So understand, like, no, this is the way it's going to be. No, we're going to talk about it, and we'll come to a conclusion. No, I'm just joking. I've joked with him about that, but I'll tell you, I have such respect for him and the way we do things, from the Thursday meetings to the practices in the stadium on Friday to going outside when it's cold and guys are looking at, well, God, we do have a beautiful bubble. And trust me when I say this, if I'm lucky enough to be here a long time, we're just getting started. Okay? So, is that all right? Okay. But anyway, I've learned like so much from Bobby, and just being around him in those intimate settings, like, you know, there's a Montana way, and you know, it ain't broken, so let's not screw with it.
Yeah, how do you continue to sort of push that Montana way forward, but also make it your own and sort of put your stamp on it as a head coach?
Yeah, well, same thing, right? From all the head coaches that I've been with, right? You have to, like I said, take bits and pieces of the good things that when you were an assistant, and hopefully implement, okay? And to me, pushing Montana forward, right, is, yeah, I see our staff every day, right? We're not just saying, oh, hey, we had a great year last year. Let's roll out the ball. Like, we're looking at tape. We're evaluating, right? Like, trust me when I say, like, we're doing the little things every day to push this place forward. And here's my charge. And I'm going to say this. I told the staff this morning, right, that number one, not only am I honored to be the head coach, okay, and to be chosen to be the head coach, but I trust Brent, the offensive staff. I trust Coop and Tim and the defensive staff, okay? My deal is, okay, I got to get out. I got to hit the ground running. I got to recruit. I got to be around the players, right? That's how I'm going to push this thing forward, okay? And when I say that you will not find anybody, like, you all will probably get sick of seeing me, okay? Because I plan on being out, and I plan on being very present.
Bobby Kennedy here on Nuanez Now 109 ESPN Radio. Take a break, come back, talk some hoops on the other side. Matt Logie, the head coach of Montana State men's basketball. They got a big weekend tonight, including tonight against the University of Idaho. That's next. Keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that if you have dense breasts, or any breasts for that matter, a screening mammogram or ultrasound can miss up to half of breast cancers? At Montana Imaging Center of Missoula, we now offer screening breast MRI, the best way to find cancer early. Tell your doctor you'd like to have a referral sent to Montana Imaging Center, where you'll save up to 90% on breast MRIs. Fridays at Montana Imaging Center, join us for Breast Fridays Ever. It's a relaxing, non-hospital screening experience with chocolates, champagne, and sometimes an emotional support puppy running around. Visit montanaimaging.com for more info.
Montana weather, am I right? While we can't control the weather, there is one thing we can control: your comfort. Liberty Electric, your partner in ensuring your comfort lasts until spring arrives. Let us help you stay cozy and worry-free through the chilly months, especially mornings. Remember, a heated garage means a warm car and a happier you. Let Liberty Electric show you how affordable a warm garage can be. Dial 541-WIRE. That's 541-9473.
The wait is over. Grizzly Disposal is now offering no-sort recycling. No more sorting and dragging it across town. They'll get it right from your house. Cans, cardboard, and plastic all in one bin. Handled by Grizzly Disposal. Visit grizzlydisposal.com to add on recycling to your plan or to switch over to Grizzly Disposal today. Give them a call, 541-7171. That's 541-7171. The best trash removal service in town just got better. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage.
From the opening face-off to the final horn, Grizz Hockey was backed by the best fans in college hockey. That's Grizz Nation at the Glacier Ice Rink. All season long, you brought the noise, brought the pride, and turned every game into a battle. Big hits, last-second goals, heart-pounding moments. University of Montana Hockey doesn't do it without you, and we mean that. So keep packing the rink, keep raising the volume, and keep backing the Grizz for years to come. Thank you, Missoula, for your continued support of Montana Grizzly Hockey.
You might be thinking, what's the big deal about a kids menu? Well, once you have kids, you know. It seems like it's getting harder and harder to find kid-friendly meals at affordable prices. At Paradise Falls, the kids menu is not only diverse, it's a total steal. For some of the cheapest prices in town, you can get hamburgers, mac and cheese, and other kid favorites for super low prices. Paradise Falls is a family-friendly restaurant open 7 days a week. Come enjoy a meal with your kiddos in Paradise at Paradise Falls, 3621 Brook Street, Missoula's coolest hotspot.
Attention Missoula and Ravalli County nonprofits. Registration is now open for the Missoula and Bitterroot Gives, a 26-hour online celebration of our nonprofit community hosted by Missoula Community Foundation. This is an opportunity to raise funds and awareness for your organization through an online platform that engage your supporters and the entire community. Participating nonprofits can win matching dollars, prizes, and more during the Day of Giving on April 30th and May 1st. Register your Missoula and Ravalli County nonprofit today at missoulagives.org.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
It's been like road.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio. The the conference tournament for Grizz hockey and Bobcat hockey is going on right now. And a couple finals in the books. Jeff Safford just passed these along during the break. The Grizz lost their opening game at the conference tournament, 5-4. Took a tough penalty in the last 2 minutes, and Utah State capitalized, and they edge out Montana. So Montana now into the losers bracket. They have a chance to maybe fight their way back for third, but not in it for a conference title, whereas the Bobcats they beat Boise State 6-2. So more on that a little bit later on. Got to keep on rolling. Caught up with the man who has one of the biggest games in the league tonight in Big Sky men's basketball earlier this week. Well, time for our Montana State Minute. Checking in now with the head man at Bobcat men's basketball. Bobcats coming off a tough road trip this last week, but still in the thick of it as we start the second half of Big Sky Conference play. Matt Logie, our guest here on Nuanez Now. Coach, appreciate you being here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
First of all, let's take us through last weekend. A couple hard-fought games, but you guys came up short in both of them. So what did you learn about your team, and how do you turn the page into this upcoming week?
Yeah, obviously Sacramento State's kind of on a hot streak right now, playing really good basketball, especially at home. And, both them and Portland State are really tough places to play with talented players. And I thought, our kids really scrapped and fought all weekend, gave ourselves a chance to win 2 road games and weren't able to make enough plays in either one to get it done. But I do think there are some lessons in there that can help us improve, moving forward. And obviously, still getting adjusted a little bit to the new makeup of our depth chart and roster. So, I think a lot of things that, we learned from last weekend can help us moving forward.
Sac State was interesting because I watched them a couple times early conference, and they had a couple close overtime losses. You could kind of see it. And it seemed like they sort of found something this weekend, and a great weekend for them. So, what do you think of just that team and maybe, their position right now in the Big Six? That seems like a team people should be on high alert about. That looked like a very talented team to me.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent. There's no doubt about that. The two guards, Prophet Johnson and Mikey Williams, can create their own shot in a lot of different ways, and they've shown the ability to kind of go on real hot shooting streaks as well. So while they haven't maybe had the consistency that they would have desired so far in conference play, the ceiling of their product is pretty high due to their talent quotient.
What do you think of the league so far this year? I mean, looking at some of the analytics and stuff like KenPom, they have their blowout statistic. It's only been like 2 in the entire league play, but it's been nip and tuck. Every game has been 4 to 6 points down the stretch all league season for everybody. So what do you think of the overall balance of the league and just how close it is so far here the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I think that trend has been consistent for the last few years in the Big Sky. I think you'd have to go back maybe 3-4 years ago before you would find a quote-unquote dominant team. It's just one of those leagues where there's a lot of parity. The discrepancy in the talent on different teams is pretty close, and a lot of very well-coached programs. And so that leads to a lot of close games. And while you have an opportunity to win every night you step on the court, if you're at a place like Montana State, humbly speaking, you also can be beat every single night as well. And it's a great way to keep your guys on edge and keep them, progressing through the process of getting better and understanding that with the margins being so small, your details really have to be on point. Your preparation has to be very, very sound. And then honestly, you got to make plays on game night. Sometimes it just comes down to who shot it better on any given night. And, you kind of let that math play out over 18 games.
Now, Logie joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. When it is so nip and tuck down the stretch, like what can be the determining factors, or like how can you find an edge to be the team that does come out on top in these games that do come down the last 2 or 4 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things that are really important are not beating yourself, and I think that could be a broad statement, but there are some really simple things that you can do to not beat yourself in terms of, not giving up easy layups. Just some of the basic fundamentals, just passing, catching, careless turnovers. I think you kind of start and end there. The teams that don't beat themselves are going to have probably the most wins at the end of the day, because everything else is very competitive, and you might be hot one night on offense, but you got your defense has to travel with you as well, and I think it just means that you really have to make somebody beat you, and ideally make somebody beat you that's not one of the other team's top 2 players.
What is the thing that you think is the strength of your team right now going into the second half of league play? How would you just define your identity and what makes you guys at your best when you're at your best?
Well, I think this team is playing a version of basketball that is really in line with the identity that we've tried to create, in terms of the way we share the basketball, how we create advantages, the unselfishness, defensively trying to make people uncomfortable. We've stuck to the script more with this team than either of the first 2 years. We just haven't, had a lot of great luck on the injury bug. But in terms of the way that we're playing, I think the reason we have been able to have consistent success is because, when guys have had to step into bigger roles or new roles, they knew what their role looked like. They knew how it fit into the bigger picture. And so, right now we're the most efficient offensive team in the Big Sky. I think that makes us, difficult to guard and difficult to prepare for when you have a lot of different guys that can, give you 12 to 18 points on any given night. And then defensively, I think offensively as well, we've really improved on the offensive glass this season from year to date. So that's given us a chance to win some of these close games that we might not have in the past.
Given the stuff you guys have had to endure with guys being banged up or knocked out completely, how have you thought you managed that, and what's the secret, or I guess what's the formula for moving forward to continue to mitigate that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I've been really proud of our players first and foremost. They've stepped up for one another. They've supported one another and are playing for one another. I think the other reality of that is, our staff did a really good job last year in the transfer portal and putting this roster together and building depth to be able to absorb some of this. I don't know how many teams really would feel comfortable playing 11 guys, in conference play, and be sitting in second place like we are now. And that's what we've had to do just because of the different injuries. And so I think that speaks to, the way we went about our business last spring and putting this group together and finding guys that can all play at this level and contribute.
Well, right down the hall from you, Trisha Bidford loves to play 10. So have you had any conversations with her just about the way that she has managed doing that over the last couple of years?
Well, no, because I don't have to worry about playing 10. We're trying to figure out what to do with 8. So
trying to get 8 to be ready to go.
Yeah,
right.
But guys have stepped up. Whether that's been Seth Amanarud, he's stepped up and had some big moments. Jeremiah Davis is, enlarging his role and impact on the program. Obviously, Christian King has had some really big nights for us. Jed Miller's playing, at an elite level. Across the landscape. And so we just need, guys to continue stepping up and taking that next step for their own career.
Well, so I've been meaning to ask you about Seth Amanarud because a great story, a kid from right down the road in Churchill, Montana, former Class C guy who bet on himself, went the junior college route, and then ended up back in the place he wanted to be all along. So it's a pretty cool story. But what have you thought of just his journey? What's helped him contribute valuable minutes for you here in conference play?
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a testament to the work that he's put in and his belief in himself. 2 years ago when he came out of high school, or 3 years ago, I guess, right when I got here, he probably wasn't ready for this level, but he knew, what he was capable of and how hard he works on his skill set. Really was able to be shown at the junior college level. The efficiencies that he plays with from a shooting perspective, handling the basketball and defending. He grew in all those ways the first 2 years of his college career, and then the opportunity presented itself here, and he's been ready for it from day one. It's pretty cool to know that a young kid that literally grew up, a mile down the road from our arena and dreamed of playing here, going to camps, really self-made his way to the program, and he's earned it, and he's earned the minutes and the role that he's expanded himself into this year as well.
Well, very cool. Certainly become a fan favorite pretty quickly. Matt Logie, Montana State men's basketball, joining us here on Nuanez Now. So tell me about the weekend. Then you got another tough one, but you're back at home. So Idaho coming to town, and Eastern Washington as well. What's the early scout, and what's it like when you try to prepare for teams for the second time around in conference play?
Yeah, I think obviously there's some more familiarity. It's been about a month since we played Idaho, so kind of dust off the personnel clips from for the guys and let them get dialed back in, and then obviously anytime you're playing somebody for the second time, there's lessons from the first game that you can apply, things that you can try to learn from and grow from, and we just take it one game at a time. While all of our focus right now is on Thursday in Idaho, and we had some really great moments in our first game against them, and so just got to be a little bit more consistent and make some plays down the stretch.
What's it going to take for your team to make a run and stay in the mix here and chase a Big Sky title down the stretch?
Well, we've got to keep being ourselves. We know what our strengths are. We know kind of what the ways in which we create offense and the ways in which we're trying to disrupt people's defensively. And so we've got to be us. We've got to stick to the script and not get too outside of our lane, but know that, we don't have the margins to have off nights very often. We need all 8-9 guys that are available to be ready to step up and play well. And so, we've got to just continue to do the things that have made us successful. Like I said, continuing to hit the offensive glass has been a margin that's been really helpful for us. I'm not worried about us sharing the basketball. We've got a really unselfish group. And so it's more about how we create those advantages and finding ways to do that, with these new constraints that we have.
Matt Logie, Montana State men's basketball. They are back in Bozeman this on Thursday and on Saturday this weekend as the second half of Big Sky Conference play begins. Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot. Go Cats.
Matt Logie here on Nuanez Now. Keep it on the hoops. Talk to Avery Waddington, Lady Grizz, sophomore on the other side. Keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Cold weather cravings? The Montana Club has got you covered with scratch-made comfort food to match every craving. From perfectly grilled steaks to satisfying salads, they're ready to handle your hunger. So grab a table with a reservation or keep it casual and order delivery straight to your door. Great food made easy. Visit MontanaClub.com to order or reserve and come warm up at your Montana Club. Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
I had some health concerns, so I decided to have the Healthy MRI full body screening at Montana Imaging Center. This screening can detect cancer and other conditions and disorders early. I had the most amazing experience with Dr. McHugh and his staff. Any nerves I had going in melted away. I received my results within minutes of getting out of the machine. Dr. McHugh reviewed everything with me, and I left with peace of mind knowing that I'm okay. I even learned things that made me feel optimistic about my health. Visit MontanaImagingCenter.com to book your Healthy MRI today and feel great about tomorrow.
All Nations Health Center is committed to keeping you vibrant and full of energy by supporting your physical, mental, and spiritual health. All Nations Health Center in Missoula offers a variety of services to the Indigenous and non-Indigenous people of Western Montana. All Nations offers primary care doctors, behavioral health services, mental health counseling, and even dental. All Nations currently serves more than 2,000 registered clients who are proud Indigenous people. For more information about how All Nations Health Center can help you, visit allnations.health.
The Trailhead Gambler Sale is going on now. It's round one, and we have some incredible deals to get the sale rocking. Sure bets like the MSR Hubba Hubba 3-person tent is on sale for $229.95. Our entire stock of Osprey backpacks are now 40% off. Winter gloves from Hester, Flylow, and Swanee are all on sale. The stock is limited, and these deals never last long. The Gambler Sale round one is going on now. The Trailhead, downtown on Front Street, next to the parking structure, where the first hour, nights, and weekends are always free parking.
Vertical Raise is the top fundraising platform, no matter what sort of organization you need to raise money for. Vertical Raise is an industry leader with elite technology that can help you reach the most vast audience possible, in turn, delivering a bigger check for you and your organization. In 2023, Vertical Raise Montana helped raise more than $1.5 million for high school sports organizations around the Treasure State, and the returns were more than 30% greater than any other fundraising program. To find out more about how Vertical Raise can deliver your organization the biggest check possible, visit verticalraise.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn how to fix a beloved item of yours but didn't know how? A Fix-It Clinic allows community members to bring their worn, broken, or malfunctioning items to learn how to repair them. Volunteer Fix-It coaches help repair items for free by sharing their knowledge and skills to assist attendees. The next Fix-It Clinic will take place at the Space DIY Studio, 129 South 4th Street West on February 28th from 11 to 2 p.m. For more information, visit the Fix-It Clinic page or email nick@homeresource.org.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
I still have no idea how to feel about Bobby Houck retiring. Welcome back to Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. Because certainly, I said this on Wednesday, and I guess I recorded with my brother earlier today. We'll play Brooks Nuanez tomorrow. We talked some NFL, some Super Bowl, and also talked about Bobby Houck. But we've certainly had some critical things to say about the Grizz because, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, as Kent Haslam led the press conference with today, as Bobby Kennedy said earlier today, the expectation at Montana is a national championship, nothing less. Big Sky championships, national championships. That's what the expectation of Grizz football is. Montana fell short of those expectations in each of the last 8 years under Bobby Houck. And in total, in his 14 years leading the Grizz, they fell short of the ultimate goal every year. But 160 wins is a lot of wins. 8 Big Sky championships is a lot of championships. And as I said yesterday, so much of what I know and understand and appreciate about football, I learned initially as a young reporter covering Bobby Houck. And more than anything, it's just like anybody that you are around and that you you interact with and work with for so long, you have your tussles. You have your conflicts. The more you're around each other, the longer it is, probably the more comfortable you are having conflicts. And Bobby Hauck is certainly not one that's huge on giving access or, being a guy that's going to win the press conference, so to speak. He's not a great soundbite. But all that said, I'm still going to miss him. It's because it's what I'm used to. Also, though, I'm excited to work with Coach Kennedy, and I think that he's going to be really easy to work with. I think he's going to be a great soundbite. So, I mean, as the producers just came in here, we were playing Bobby Kennedy. They said, man, this guy's refreshing. So, either way, just a changing of the guard, a changing of the times at the University of Montana. Speaking of, Lady Grizz have a big game tonight against Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington won in Missoula when they were here. Montana has some losses that maybe you could explain away. That's one where they're probably kicking themselves because they're sort of right there in the same spot as Eastern Washington, middle of the league, and it was on their home court. We'll see if they can get some revenge tonight. We caught up with one of their best players earlier this week. We're checking in now with Lady Grizz basketball. Avery Waddington, our guest. Lady Grizz had a split this last weekend. They extended their winning streak to 4 games with a win over Portland State and fell at home to Sac State. But now we're into the second half of Big Sky Conference play. Avery, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks so much for asking. First of all, I got to ask you about the Portland State game because a good win for you guys, but also a great performance by you. 31 points, a career high. So what were you seeing in Portland State's defense that let you, especially I thought your penetration was really, really good. What helped you get to the rim with so much ease on Thursday?
Usually I feel like I'm used to going attacking downhill and then I get doubled. And so I'm usually having to kick out, but Portland State wasn't changing anything, and it was just 1v1 the whole game pretty much. And so we just ran some plays that would just ISO me and give me the ability to attack the hoop. And I didn't really have to kick it out much. And so I just took the opportunity to go one-on-one, and it was a productive night for me.
How have you seen that part of your game evolve? Because you're right, like Idaho State, for example, your last time out, every time you drove, collapse.
Yes.
That led to so many threes. I mean, you guys hit 15 or 16 threes that night. You had a ton of assists. So how have you seen that part of your game evolve to sort of be able to read that kind of stuff and what the defense is doing on the fly?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable driving to the hoop as time has gone on. But like you said, especially in the Idaho State game, they collapsed. And so knowing that means that they can't guard all 5 of us at once if I'm getting double teamed. And so just trying to read, I'm still working on it obviously, but just trying to read kicking it out. If I can get it down half a second faster, that will make it even better. But just working on keeping my eyes up and seeing the backside come in double has been really good, just to see that we can kick it out and hopefully make our threes.
Well, I know last year down the stretch, you played a lot more on the ball, and now that's become the case here too early in league play. And I'm sure there's going to be some give and take there now with Matt Koenig back in the lab. So we'll get to that in a minute. But just playing on the ball, how comfortable were you with that coming into the Lady Grizz? Is that something you've had to learn, or did you do that a lot in high school?
Yeah, definitely high school. I had a lot of opportunity just bringing the ball up as well. And at the start of freshman year, I didn't really get that opportunity much until Nate took over. And I feel like that's just where my game, I've always flown well from that and just being able to grab a rebound and take it at myself instead of outlet it. And so it definitely has been an adjustment from high school and going into this level because the defenders are much better in this league. And so I definitely have had experience, but I'm still learning and trying to take care of the ball as best as I can in this level.
Hey, everyone, to join us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, or maybe you're listening on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. No matter how you're joining us, appreciate you for being here. Lady Grizz won 4 of their last 5, so tell me about that part. It's sort of a rock bottom in Bozeman, but then a great resurgence, and not just the 4 straight wins, but you did multiple of them in the span of 6 days. I mean, it was the hard part of the schedule where you have to play the 4 times in 7 days. So what was the keys to the bounce back? How are you guys able to string together a nice winning streak?
Yeah, for sure. I think just the biggest thing for us is to be positive and not just let our losses control our future. And I feel like the basketball is a game of ups and downs and runs. And so like just being level-headed and focused and not letting our turnovers or low energy affect the rest of the game. And so I think just the difference from the first half compared to the last 4 games was just our energy and just having a really good positive mindset going forward.
It seems like you have some girls that have become more comfortable with their roles too, right? I mean, certainly big shoes to fill when you lose an all-league player like Matt Koning. But Macy Nadarski seems like she's more comfortable. Drea Wacker has been playing really well. She shot the ball well too. So how much of it is just sort of coming together as a team and just learning how each other plays? Yeah, for sure. Losing Mac was definitely not expected. And so, I mean, she's a big part of our team. And so it took us a little while to get a hang of that, but Macy's stepped up great and like, she's way more comfortable with the ball and leading our team as point. And Drea has done an awesome job just catching as a shooter and being like a triple threat scorer. She's been amazing and working on defense too. Her energy is really great, and you can see that on the court. And even Ray, our freshman, she's just learning like her role much better, and we need her every time to catch as a shooter. And she's learning that, and it's been really helpful for us. Matt Koning did return to the lineup on Saturday, played 21 minutes. So how much does that give you guys a boost, just having one of the best players in the conference back in the fold? It gives us a big boost. We're excited. She didn't get to practice with us much just because she was working on her rehab and stuff, but I'm excited for this week, especially because she'll definitely get more minutes and be able to practice full-time with us. And just having her IQ and her ball handling too, like when we get pressed, is just going to be a big help for us. And you mentioned Ray Ehrman, that she really has come alive the last couple of weeks too. You went through the same transition last year as a freshman. What's the process like for a freshman to sort of get comfortable, and what sort of jolt has she given you off the bench? I think coming in as a freshman, you really have to know and learn what your specific role is. And she's just as I was, you just learn so much within the first year. And we're trying to tell her every day, like, you are one of the best shooters in the conference. And if you don't shoot the ball, that's hurting us. And so just giving her encouragement just to catch as a shooter every time. And it's okay to miss, but you're going to learn, and she works out in the gym and shoots every day after practice. She's putting in the work, and we trust her to shoot the ball. And so she's learning, but she's doing a great job, and I'm excited for her future here. Amy Waddington joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Lady Grizz on the road this week. So early thoughts on Easter. I guess first of all, what's it like when you start playing teams for a second time? Because now you're familiar with everybody, you've seen them all once. So how's it changed, or how is it similar to the first time? Mm-hmm. The second time's always fun because you already know the scout a lot. Well, we all obviously tweak a couple things based on the playing them the first time, but you just learn a lot quicker, and you know their plays and the scout much better. So it's really exciting because you're much quicker to process what things are going on the court. And so it's always fun to play a second time and just be way more comfortable against the teams. And it's always much better the second time, I'd say. Well, Eastern Washington, tough place to play. They've been good the last couple of years. So what's your early thoughts on getting a chance to get them back on Thursday? Yeah, I think when we played Eastern the first time, we were a much different team than we are now. And so I'm just hoping we continue to carry on our energy from the past couple games. And obviously having Mac back, we'll just have a good run with them and come home with a dub. Well, they're really good defensively. So what's the key to attacking that? Yeah, just making sure we move the ball. And like I said, earlier, when we're penetrating the paint when they collapse, because they will be a team that will do that, just seeing and being shot ready and being ready to catch and shoot the ball is going to be the biggest key. So just seeing kickouts and moving the ball, cutting, making great space for the attackers to attack the hoop. And then if they collapse, just be ready to kick out. Well, next time Lady Grizz are at home, it'll be the rivalry weekend, and we'll have tickets for you, so we'll let you know when that's coming around. But for now, we will continue to give you some lead up to the great weekend that's upon us. Montana State at Idaho on Thursday will also be a big game, so we'll have updates for you throughout the week. But appreciate Avery Waddington for joining us here on Nuanez Now. Avery, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Take a break, come back. Keep on talking hoops. Trisha Binford on the other side. We also have a Class C spotlight about the Scopey boys. That's all next. Keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio. The Press Box is the place to watch all your favorite sports. In the heart of Grizz Country, Press Box has great food and drinks with happy hour and lunch specials every weekday. Don't forget, Press Box has the best happy hour deal in town, Monday through Friday, between 4 and 6, $3 draft beers. That's right, any draft beer at the Press Box, from domestic light beers to IPAs to everything in between, $3 drafts between 4 and 6, Monday through Friday at the Press Box. Press Box also has 2 sports bet machines, so you can always get your bets in before the game starts. The Press Box on Broadway and Van Buren in Missoula.
From the opening face-off to the final horn, Grizz Hockey was backed by the best fans in college hockey. That's Grizz Nation at the Glacier Ice Rink. All season long, you brought the noise, brought the pride, and turned every game into a battle. Big hits, last-second goals, heart-pounding moments. University of Montana Hockey doesn't do it without you, and we mean that. So keep packing the rink, keep raising the volume, and keep backing the Grizz for years to come. Thank you, Missoula, for your continued support of Montana Grizzly Hockey.
Did you know that if you have dense breasts, or any breasts for that matter, a screening mammogram or ultrasound can miss up to half of breast cancers? At Montana Imaging Center of Missoula, we now offer screening breast MRI, the best way to find cancer early. Tell your doctor you'd like to have a referral sent to Montana Imaging Center, where you'll save up to 90% on breast MRIs. Fridays at Montana Imaging Center, join us for Breast Fridays Ever. It's a relaxing, non-hospital screening experience with chocolates, champagne, and sometimes an emotional support puppy running around. Visit montanaimaging.com for more info.
Canby Tap House is well known for having one of the best and biggest selections of tap beers anywhere in Montana. Did you know that Canby Tap House also has wine on tap? Wine on Tap gives Canby the ability to offer unique varieties of wines from all over the world at a good price point, and it's guaranteed to be fresh. Canby Tap House and Coffee has become a Missoula favorite. Swing in to see why. Canby has delicious food, an array of beverage options, and fresh wine on tap. Canby Tap House, located on Higgins across from Dornblazer Field in Missoula. If you're in search of a trading card of your favorite player, or if your kids are, swing into Zootown Sports Cards. If there's a card of a player you're searching for, Zootown Sports Cards has the cards. With an almost endless collection of singles and inserts, whatever and whoever you're in the market for, Zootown Sports Cards has it. 1990s NBA stars, Zootown has it. 2000s football players, Zootown has it. And looking through the collection is half of the fun. Come check out all of what Zootown Sports Cards has to offer in the Stevens Center in Missoula.
Happy New Year, Montana. I'm Secretary of State Christy Jacobson with some great news for Montana businesses. I'm once again waiving the annual report filing fee. Visit biz.sosmt.gov, file your annual report by April 15th, and the fee will automatically be waived. It's that simple. Thanks for doing business in Montana, and here's to a successful 2026.
This message sponsored by Montana Secretary of State's office in cooperation with the Montana Broadcasters Association.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana. KKVU HD3 Stevensville and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
On today, Montana is scheduled to announce its most recent signing day football class. Longtime head coach Bobby Houck is retiring. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Houck, who led the Grizzlies to 13 wins and the semifinals of the FCS playoffs this past season, has been the head coach at Montana for a total of 15 years since 2003. He has led Montana to 151 wins and 8 Big Sky Conference championships. Montana made an official announcement at 9:30 a.m. Bobby Kennedy, who served as Montana's wide receivers coach last season, is expected to be named the head coach. One source close to Grizz Athletics said that Kennedy will not have an interim tag, but instead signs a 1-year contract. Houck was first hired as the head coach at Montana in 2003. He led the Grizz to 80 wins and 7 straight Big Sky Conference championships between 2003 and 2009. He guided Montana to 3 national championship games and went 31-1 in Big Sky Conference play his last 4 seasons at the helm. Houck left ahead of the 2010 season to take the head coaching job at UNLV. He went 15-49 in Vegas before resigning and taking the special teams coordinator job at San Diego State. Houck returned to his alma
alma mater ahead of the 2018 season to take over a Grizz program that had missed the playoffs 2 years in a row under Bob Stitt. Hauk's second tenure included 6 playoff appearances, 2 trips to the semifinals, 1 trip to the national championship game, and 1 Big Sky title. It also included 2 wins in 8 games against rival Montana State. If Hauk does not coach in the Big Sky Conference again, he will finish as the league's all-time leader in overall victories and conference wins.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
I'm gonna live better, baby. My wave's gonna break the dawn. I'm gonna sweat it out until I make it. And be free from these chains that bind.
Welcome back, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I'm Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned. If you'd like to make the switch to locally owned and veteran-owned waste management today, call Grizzly Disposal, 541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage. If you're missing the first hour of the show, you can always find it on the Nuanez Now podcast, which is available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe. Speaking of phone numbers, how about ours? You want to go to the Grizz game tonight against Eastern Washington? Grizz Hoops, we got a bunch of tickets for you. Text us, 406-888-1029. We also got free beers. I know some of you are going to want the beers, some of you are going to want the basketball, so just tell us what you want. 406-888-1029. Thursday, presented by DraftWorks. We got a $25 gift card to DraftWorks. We got Grizz tickets. So we're going to solicit texts from you throughout the show. So please keep them coming in. Over the next hour, you can get entered in to win either or. And heck, why not? If you want both, say that, and maybe you'll get lucky. Certainly, though, if you want Grizz tickets or DraftWorks beers or both, 406-888-1029. The game of the week in Big Sky Conference basketball is on the women's side, and it plays out in Moscow, Idaho. Idaho is the surprise of the league so far this year. They are 8-1 in conference play and alone in second place, trailing only Montana State. The most eye-opening result in the league so far this year, though, is Montana State over Idaho. It's not crazy that the Cats beat Idaho. The Cats have won 26 of their last 29 conference games, 26 of the last 28 conference games, Just 2 conference losses combined in the last year and a half of league play. Yet it was how they beat them. Idaho is one of the highest scoring teams in the conference. Montana State dropped nearly 100 on Idaho, and they ran them out of the gym. They beat them by 40. So, when the Cats beat the Lady Grizz by 38, that was a stunning result because of both the prolific nature of Montana State, but also the ineptitude of Montana. For Idaho to get run out like that, that's pretty crazy. Nate Harris, Montana head coach, said that in his postgame press conference. He said, I'm devastated by the loss and that lopsided of a loss to our rival. But also, these guys did that to the second-best team in the league last week. So Montana State's a different beast, but I do expect it to be a much closer and better game in Moscow tonight. Idaho has responded in fine fashion after that beatdown, and they've won 5 in a row. So first place on the line in Moscow this week. We caught up with Trisha Binford on Tuesday. Making rounds around the Treasure State, as we always do, checking in now with Montana State women's basketball. The head coach, Trisha Binford, joining us here on Nuanez Now. Coach, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Doing well. It's great to be here.
First of all, you got to talk about your defensive effort this last weekend, just overall. 74 points is a moderate effort if you did it in one game, but you gave up 74 points in 2 games, including the lowest in the history of the program, 31 points against Sac State on Thursday night. So what goes into performing like that defensively, but especially 2 nights in a row?
Well, it takes kids willing to put that much effort on that end of the floor, to be quite honest. We had come off that road trip, and kids weren't very happy with our performance. And, one of the takeaways, even after the Idaho State, but even Weber, both of those, we gave up so many points on the defensive end. And we just kind of retooled, got a reset about our defensive identity, and really talked about where we were taking chances of just doing a better job once we got into that half court. And I thought they took that to heart.
Well, 31 points against Sac State is stunning considering the offensive firepower that they have, but also is the consistency, right? I mean, even in every game, you sometimes have a let-up or a lull. You guys didn't have any let-ups or lulls. I think they only scored single digits in all 4 quarters. So what can you say just about the consistent effort throughout the span of that game?
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, they were super focused. I think Sac missed some shots that probably typically make as well. I think everything starts with how you set the tone, right? So if you let them get hot early, the rim gets a little bit bigger. If you start off well, maybe it's a little bit tighter and some of those shots don't fall. So I felt like we started off the right way. We kept rotating kids in. I feel like our bench is getting more confident. I think that was a big piece, too, that we're getting so much more production out of our bench, and that's kind of what helps you in that third and fourth quarter, which is typically when teams give up more points.
Well, somebody likes to play a deep rotation. You had to love that box score. Every player on your team played at least 15 and no more than 25 minutes. I think everybody scored. Everybody had multiple rebounds. Pretty incredible to look at just the depth that you've been able to cultivate there.
Well, and that's probably the main reason we were able to do what we did against Portland State. We had really fresh legs. That was the first thing that we talked about when we went in the locker room, that nobody played over 25 minutes. I think, that was a big key of having legs to duplicate what you do. And deciding when to be intense and when to cut back into the half court. I think we definitely recruit kids that take a lot of pride on that end of the floor. But after that previous week, that was something we really focused in on, how many points we were giving up per quarter, and we took a lot of pride in that.
Trisha Binford joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. She's the head coach of Montana State women's basketball. As we make the turn here into the second half of Big Sky Conference play, Bobcats alone in first place with a big one coming up in Moscow against Idaho on Thursday. We'll get to that in a little while, but I got to continue to talk about this defensive effort because Taylor Chirick, we've talked about her several times in the last couple of years, Coach. She's an absolute wrecking machine there on the front of your press. But on Saturday, next level, 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. As I was saying on the show earlier this week, 31 points is impressive, but we see people score 30 pretty often. Double-digit rebounds, that's really good. 11 steals is crazy. Like, that would be crazy if I was watching my fifth-grade nephew, let alone in a Division I basketball game. How is she able to keep doing it, and how impressed are you just by her defensive efforts?
Well, I think the biggest wow factor is doing that in 27 minutes. Part of me is like, she's breaking records. At what point is too many minutes, right? Where we've got to take a game taken. I'm like looking at her. I'm like, you need 2, right? I need to get you out here. And that's a fine balance of wanting to make sure everybody's getting some playing time. But she's on kind of just one of those games in history. It's really amazing to see how she just continues to grow in different ways to create her opportunities on the defensive end, because I think when you're on year 2, people are a little bit more aware when you're on ball on the defense, like how they get it in. So she's had to get a little bit more creative on ways in the half court and things off ball. And I think she's really growing there. She's always been so good on ball, whether it's an entry on a baseline out of bounds or a sideline out of bounds. I think she's really starting to take that piece to the next level. She just has really good instincts of reading what's happening with the ball. And you definitely want to give her the reins to do that. I'm like, just get out of her way and let her play it through those things.
You mentioned it. The element of surprise is not a thing for her anymore, right? Like, maybe last year she might be able to come off the bench and sort of shock people with how athletic she was, but now everybody knows. Yeah, she still continues to take it to the next level. Is that natural, or is that preparation and natural talent sort of meeting?
Well, it's for sure natural talent, but then there's the piece of she's a perfect fit for our program. We're not the level of pressing team we are now prior to last season. Last season, we increased things we wanted to do in the backcourt based on a kid like Taylor Chiric. We were really known for our half-court defense previously, but the things we're doing now with our presses is taking advantage of maximizing her gifts on top of other things. And the kids that we continue to recruit, we've got, I think we've got quite a few kids that could make the defensive team, like Ella Johnson and her instincts with her length. Jamison Phillip has kind of come in and just fit in immediately with her ability to take charges. And what I love about this group is how they play off of each other. Like, they can read off of what Taylor's going to do, and Taylor's reading off what they're going to do. And, I think this young group is starting to build some pretty fun chemistry.
Just overall defensively, the way you guys are able to start games too. I mean, how does that impact the way you coach? Like, when you have a 31-1 lead, I mean, it gives you a little bit of a leeway when you just get out to such good starts, it seems like.
Well, the big thing is like how you want to continue rotating, like with a lead like that. You don't want to, kind of throw that off by any means. You want to rotate the right way. And I don't know, maybe it's our home crowd culture. Our atmosphere has been tremendous the last 2 home games, and our crowd continues to grow. Our atmosphere has been amazing. I know everybody loves playing on their home floor, but when you have a home floor and you're getting around 3,000 people coming out to watch you play, it brings another level of energy. And this team is all about energy. So sometimes I have to pull them back. There's never a time where I need to speed them up. So I think that piece has really helped, just being back on our home floor. So it'll be interesting to see. Now we have our big challenge in front of us, because the majority of the rest of our season is going to be on the road.
Well, that must be gratifying for you, because you've always had teams that are fun to watch and players that are fun to watch. But this style, it seems like your fan base has bought into it at an even higher level. I mean, you guys are one of the top drawing teams in the Big Sky, men or women, right now, which is awesome to see. But it seems like the crowd knows exactly how you guys want to beat people, and they seem to play into that too. That must be so fun for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got the steals challenge, all those things. Like, they're counting how many steals per game we're getting. I could tell you every kid in this community. We're working on this. We need to get a 44 jersey. I'll tell you that, because every single kid in this valley would be wearing a 44 jersey. If you watch after the games, this team is immediately engaging with all the kids, and Taylor's probably one of the first people to do that, of signing autographs. So it's definitely building something really fun. The style that we play, I think, is really fun for the viewers as well. They're getting into it. I'm like, every time Tegan gets a couple dribbles there, everybody's anticipating that first opportunity, because she can really elevate culture. But there's just the different personalities. This crowd knows our kids. The Addie Harris motor. I'm like, we could go through the whole team. It's been fun to see how they're engaging with our crowd.
Well, one thing that's been so, Christian Bedford joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. One thing that's been so impressive to me is, in this era now where there is so much extra attention on the kids, and there's all these different draws, I mean, like we were talking about before we went on, everything is television. Everybody's on TV, everything, even on the radio, we got to have a video product. But it's a crazy amount of exposure for young people. And, I mean, make no mistake, Taylor Chiric is now one of the biggest stars in Montana, period, with any of the athletes in this state right now. But she seems like she handles it so gracefully. How do you manage, not just her, you've got some other really big stars too. How do you handle that? How do you help them handle just the extra attention, the extra exposure?
Well, I think the big thing is, like you talked about culture. Like our kids know that this is bigger than basketball. This is a group that has a chemistry, a connection. They know the privilege and the responsibility of connecting with your community. One of the things about Taylor that people probably don't even realize is her giving out to the community outside the hours that she's doing basketball. I get emails all the time, whether it's Special Olympics or at an elementary school. She was recognized as one of the students in service, that award that was at the Cat Grizz football game. And the kids that we're recruiting we start with that and they finish with that. And I feel like they grow along that way of knowing they've been a part of, this legacy that they've left here. They've impacted the community at a really high level. So I guess my short answer, I don't know if I have a short answer as far as mentoring them through it. It's just more of a culture that we talk about on a daily basis of what we want it to look like. And they all know it's always, Taylor's getting all this recognition, but she's always been about her team and her family, and always been giving to her community. My niece came to 2 Colorado games, so University of Colorado, UNC. And the second one, when we went out there, Taylor was already the first out to see my niece, didn't say anything to her. It's on my brother's screensaver with a picture with his daughter and Taylor, and she just goes out and seeks those opportunities. So I think that's kind of how they have been handling, I guess, the recognition is they enjoy like the smiles that they get to be a part of, and they're enjoying their teammates that they're playing with. I think they're having a lot of fun, but they're also super hungry. So they know that we still have more work and improvement ahead of us.
Well, I think that's one thing that has been really cool to watch is that there is a lot of draws, there is a lot of opportunities, but by and large, a lot of these athletes at Montana State and at Montana are buying into what we have here, like how cool it is, like you can go somewhere else and maybe get some money or something, but is it going to replicate like what Montana State women's basketball has built? Is it going to replicate winning a national championship if you're Brent Vegan? I mean, that's pretty cool that we have so many athletes that are buying into that. It seems like you have a whole bunch of them.
Well, yeah, we had a chance to see what the football team did, and that parade and everything that they had, that Cat Grizz weekend. I'm like, obviously we didn't get to see any of those festivities, but, it's a community, it's a family. We're out supporting football. They're out supporting us, men's basketball, volleyball, you name it, track and field. You could go through the gamut. It's one of the things that is really special about our two places, both schools here in the state. I'm like, you just don't have that other places. And, Taylor is a Montana kid, and she has seen it growing up. Her parents get to be at every home game. Her brother and sister are here when they can be here. So, those things should never be undervalued. A family getting to watch you play and the legacy you get to leave. But more than that, we've got some tremendous competitors, and there's some things that they want to accomplish that hasn't been done in this program. And, you keep that chemistry together, and we'll see how far we can do it.
Well, now here you are coming down the stretch into February, and you got the second half of Big Sky Conference play. So how would you evaluate where your team's at? You're in first place, which is where you want to be, but what have you liked, and what do you want to see improve here in the second half of the conference season?
Well, I know that how many losses we have and Idaho has, so I guess I'm going to take it as that we want to control what we can control and not rely on other things to be had. And we know Idaho's extremely good on their home floor, so is Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington had an incredible game here in Bozeman. I know this league. I know the travel of this league. I know the coaches and how prepared they're going to have their teams of this league. So I feel like we're halfway, and we got a lot ahead of us. One of the things that we know we have to continue getting better at is our half-court defense. If you look at, we have a lot of fun trying to get steals and blocks, so we seem to be really high there, but we're very low in field goal percentage and three-point percentage defense and rebounding. Those are three areas on the defensive end that we know we can get better at. Offensively, there's times where we put up big numbers in a quarter, and then there's times that, we're still young. And so I think how we manage that in our huddles, our leadership with a young team that is still looking to each other on who kind of takes over in those situations. I think a lot of people know Taylor's going to be a big piece of that in Addie, but we also have other pieces that are continuing to get better and better that have great sparks. So I think this team, as long as we just continue getting better every day, the rest will take care of itself. And everybody knows you got to have 3 great games when you hit the Big Sky tournament. So we just want to focus on Thursday.
Big road test Thursday for Montana State women's basketball. They head to Bosco to take on Idaho. Idaho is just one of the most interesting teams in the league to me because
I mean, they've had multiple coaching changes. They've had multiple identities, but they've still been really good. I mean, like last year's team looks nothing like this year's team. This year's team gets up and down. They score so many points. But, I mean, here they are, 8-1 in league play. So what have you thought of just the job that Coach Moreira has done and just the different styles they've been able to play over the last couple of years?
Well, he's done a great job of kind of molding in what was returning and getting some pieces to fit that. And they have really good depth with that. And they are hard to guard. They can really stretch you out, but they also have a great interior presence. They have guard play that's very, very dynamic. And I think they've been getting really a lot better on the defensive end, getting a lot more aggressive. They're very good on their home floor, but to have that record right now with how many road games that they've had is a very, very good record at this halfway point. So, statistically, they're in a lot of great categories, and we know that we're going to have to be sharp on both ends.
Thanks for joining us here on Nuanez Now. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for being here, and good luck on Thursday.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Coulter.
Keeps on rolling here from the Grizzly Disposal Studio at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned. You want to make the switch today, 541-7171, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Jeff Safford's going to give us an update on what's going on in Scobie. The boys' basketball team's undefeated. How have they done it? That's our Class C Spotlight. Next, keep it right here, 102.9 ESPN Radio.
From the opening face-off to the final horn, Grizz Hockey was backed by the best fans in college hockey. That's Grizz Nation at the Glacier Ice Rink. All season long, you brought the noise, brought the pride, and turned every game into a battle. Big hits, last-second goals, heart-pounding moments. University of Montana Hockey doesn't do it without you, and we mean that. So keep packing the rink, keep raising the volume, and keep backing the Grizz for years to come. Thank you, Missoula, for your continued support of Montana Grizzly Hockey.
I had some health concerns, so I decided to have the Healthy MRI full body screening at Montana Imaging Center. This screening can detect cancer and other conditions and disorders early. I had the most amazing experience with Dr. McHugh and his staff. Any nerves I had going in melted away. I received my results within minutes of getting out of the machine. Dr. McHugh reviewed everything with me, and I left with peace of mind knowing that I'm okay. I even learned things that made me feel optimistic about my health. Visit MontanaImagingCenter.com to book your Healthy MRI today and feel great about tomorrow.
The wait is over. Grizzly Disposal is now offering no sort recycling. No more sorting and dragging it across town. They'll get it right from your house. Cans, cardboard, and plastic all in one bin. Handled by Grizzly Disposal. Visit GrizzlyDisposal.com to add on recycling to your plan or to switch over to Grizzly Disposal today. Give them a call, 541-7171. That's 541-7171. The best trash removal service in town just got better. Grizzly Disposal, the only Bears that should be in your garbage.
This is Brandon Dwyer, branch manager at Stockman Bank in Missoula. When it comes to your hard-earned money, it matters where you bank. We offer a wide range of deposit accounts, whether you're building savings, planning for retirement, or just need a reliable checking account. With competitive rates, local service, and easy online mobile banking, managing your money is simple. Anytime, anywhere. Stop by today and see how easy it is to get started. Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Coulter Nuanez from your favorite daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now, and I want to buy you a meal on your birthday at Paradise Falls. If it's your birthday, head on over to Paradise Falls at 3621 Brook Street, and I will buy you a birthday entree. All you have to do is go into the family-friendly Missoula favorite, present your ID, and the entree is on me. Birthday meals courtesy of Nuanez Now at Paradise Falls, a family-friendly restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If it's your birthday, head over to Paradise Falls, Missoula's coolest hotspot.
You are invited to Red's Bar for Silver Lining Foundation's 7th annual beer pour, chili feed, and raffle on February 12th. Chili's served at 5 and raffle drawings begin at 7, 5 to 8 p.m. at Red's Bar in downtown Missoula off of Ryman. The mission of Silver Lining Foundation Montana is to build a strong and supportive community of breast cancer survivors with dedication to achieve and maintain wellness of mind, body, and spirit. Details at silverliningmt.org.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
On today, Montana is scheduled to announce its most recent signing day football class. Longtime head coach Bobby Hauck is retiring. Hello, I am Colter Nuanez. Hauck, who led the Grizzlies to 13 wins and the semifinals of the FCS playoffs this past season, has been the head coach at Montana for a total of 15 years since 2003. He has led Montana to 151 wins and 8 Big Sky Conference championships. Montana made an official announcement at 9:30 a.m. Bobby Kennedy, who served as Montana's wide receivers coach last season, is expected to be named the head coach. One source close to Grizz Athletics said that Kennedy will not have an interim tag, but instead signs a 1-year contract. Hauck was first hired as the head coach at Montana in 2003. He led the Grizz to 80 wins and 7 straight Big Sky Conference championships between 2003 and 2009. He guided Montana to 3 national championship games and went 31-1 in Big Sky Conference play his last 4 seasons at the helm. Hauck left ahead of the 2010 season to take the head coaching job at UNLV. He went 15-49 in Vegas before resigning and taking the special teams coordinator job at San Diego State. Hauck returned to his alma mater ahead of the 2018 season to take over a Grizz program that had missed the playoffs 2 years in a row under Bob Stitt. Hauck's second tenure included 6 playoff appearances, 2 trips to the semifinals, 1 trip to the national championship game, and 1 Big Sky title. It also included 2 wins in 8 games against rival Montana State. If Hauck does not coach in the Big Sky Conference again, he will finish as the league's all-time leader in overall victories and conference wins.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Someone to catch her when she falls from the heaven. And I love her yet. She has done me wrong. And I bring her back. She has been knocked down. And I'll always be her. Broken hearted savior.
I'd actually love to know the backstory on these guys. Like, why do they love Montana so much? Just because, I mean, I like Big Head Todd and the Monsters, but I've seen them live a bunch because they just come through Montana. They love Big Sky. So I saw them up in Big Sky 3 times when I used to live in Bozeman, but then I also saw them in Bozeman once. But then they also were here at the Kettle House Amphitheater before as well. And I don't know what the connect is. I don't know what the. I mean, who doesn't love Montana? I still don't know if they have like a tie there, if they just came here once upon a time and they just love it. So certainly going to be fun to see if they come back down the road. But they're good live. So if you get a chance, you should go see them. They're definitely veterans that have been doing it a long time, and they rock. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez here, still trying to compartmentalize my thoughts. And I guess where I land on Bobby Kennedy taking over for Bobby Hauck is that given the timing of Hauck's retirement, which that is a whole debate within itself, like why did it come Wednesday? Or I guess Tuesday night. That's a whole different topic for a different day. I'm going to hash that out with Ryan Tutel sometime in the next week or so. But given the timing that it came on February 4th, where you're at in the calendar, in order to maintain the most continuity you can within the program in terms of your staff and your players, particularly your star players. Like, first of all, you have to promote internally. And then you go down the line of who's going to be the guy that can be the guy that brings everybody together the most and that the players are going to buy into the quickest. And I think you quickly land on Kennedy. And I think there's other guys that have those characteristics too. And I mean, like Ron Fennessy's been a head coach that's won games in the Big Sky Conference. Brett P's been a successful offensive coordinator for 30-plus years. You know, Roger Cooper's been a successful guy. Tim Hauck's got a Super Bowl ring. So, in terms of like evaluating this, I just don't know if there is an evaluation to be had. I think Montana did what they needed to do, and I think that's what the athletic department made the plane land as smooth as they possibly can, I think, given the circumstances. And I just think that's where we're at. In terms of like the quality of a coach that Bobby Kennedy's going to be, I think he's going to be really good in like the promotions, the offseason stuff, all that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. but we're not going to know how he actually does as the head coach in a game. The fact that they maintain the play callers, I think that those guys can just let it cook, right? I think Bobby Kennedy will just say, Brett Pease, you do your thing. Tim Halk and Roger Cooper, you do your thing. I'm just going to be the figurehead. I'm going to keep everybody in line. Bobby Kennedy also said he wants to hire a special teams coordinator because that was Bobby Houck's strength and great piece of success. Probably his greatest strength as a coach. So, we're in TBD mode, but I thought Kennedy was fun to listen to today. He's funny, he was affable, he was relatable, and I think that's all good things in terms of the part of the calendar that you're in right now. Right now, you got to first and foremost, you got to maintain your roster and do that all the way through spring ball. There is no spring portal anymore, but guys, now they do have a chance because there's like this new window where if your head coach leaves, you have 15 days to hit the open road if you want. So they got to make sure they maintain those guys over the next 14 days. Now that we're a day into this thing, that's number one. They got to hit the ground running for spring ball and figure out what holes you need to fill and go attack that part. But I think that Bobby Kennedy said it. He's going to be in high schools. He's going to be doing all these different things around the state of Montana, and I think that's going to be big. I think it's going to help ignite the momentum even further behind the Grizz after they're coming off a great year. And I also think that Montana State has so much momentum, and they have a national championship to tout around now too, but that also needs to be and should be something that ignites the Grizz too. So I just think both these programs have a chance to really continue to accelerate each other and themselves coming into this offseason. 129 ESPN Radio, Jeff Safford's got the scoop for what's going on with the Scobie Spartans.
Another Class C spotlight here on 102.9 ESPN Radio, the ESPN MT app, SWX Montana, shifting out to Northeast Montana this week on the boys' side of the equation to visit with the number 1 ranked team in Class C boys basketball. The head coach of the Scobie Spartans is with us here on ESPN Missoula, Jason Wolf, here to talk about the season to this point for the 15-0 Spartans. They're averaging 65 points per game, while only allowing 26 points per game. They've outscored their opponents this season 981 to 403. Whoa. Now, Scobie, Montana is a bit out there. Northeast Montana, close to the Canadian border in Saskatchewan. Myself being a guy that spent time in Havre out on the High Line, I know about North Central Montana, but Northeast, that's a little bit of uncharted waters for me. So, Jason, how far exactly are you from the Canadian border?
Well, we're only about 14 miles from the Canadian border and 60 miles from North Dakota, so we're kind of tucked up here in the corner.
Wow. I mean, I've been out towards Sydney, Glendive, a few towns like that, but that's a little bit of a different role, surely. But your team's been off to a great season to this point after a third-place finish at state last year. How's it been just being the number 1 team in Class C?
Well, it's good. I mean, it's nice for the town and the team and the kids to get the recognition. We had some success last year, and of course our guys won state football this year. So a lot of that ranking might be based off of expectation and reputation. But kids have certainly deserved it. They play hard. They're all gym rats, and they're in there all the time. So certainly deserving of them. But we know there's a lot of work to be done before we even get out to Missoula.
Speaking on that topic, the Scobie Spartans have a pair of games coming up very soon. Recording this on a Wednesday, they'll be in action on Thursday on the road at Nashua, and then a big rematch with the number 3 ranked Luster Christian Lions come Saturday at home. Now, we've touched on how this team has been so impressive to this point, thinking about the point differential, points per game, but the thing that really jumps off the page for me from a statistics standpoint has been your team's ability to play so exceptional on the defensive side of the ball. How has that been such a key for this group?
We're excited for the potential that our guys have, and of course we do play Luster again on Saturday, which they've had such a good program over there for the past several years, and Coach Reddick over there does a good job with his program. Played them earlier in the season here and had some success against them, but we certainly know that it'll be a different game when they come visit us on Saturday. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to a good game and some good competition here building up towards tournament.
The head coach from out in Northeast Montana, the Scobie Spartans, with us here on ESPN Radio, getting you ready for Class C hoop basketball action coming this March to Missoula. The Class C basketball tournament headed your way. We'll continue with coverage here on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Now, we've mentioned this town of Scobie out there in Northeast Montana, a unique setup of about a town of about 1,000 people, it looks like. How has this community really rallied around this group and all the success they've had, not just on the court? You mentioned the 8-man championship as well in football.
Yeah, we've got a great following. Our community really rallies behind the sports programs here in town. You know, much like all of the small communities across Montana, it's a place for people to gather, and people certainly get excited to follow it. And especially when you've had success like our kids have had, the community really gets excited for these events.
Now, it must be cool also just to be able to see this group grow. This roster for the Spartans, it features 5 seniors on it, including your leading scorer, John Carney. How has it been seeing this group grow?
It's been amazing. These are a really good group of kids. They love basketball. They love to compete in anything they do. And, that's a direct result of the success they've had, not only in basketball, but I mentioned football earlier. And then a lot of these kids are also 2-time defending state golf champions. Will be going for their 3rd straight. So, yeah, it's a really good group of guys. You mentioned John. He's our leading scorer and does a tremendous job for us. Just a really good kid to be around. Great attitude. As with all of our seniors, I'm going to be really sad to see them go because we've had a good run with these guys here over the last couple of years.
The head man with the Scobie Spartans, Jason Wolf, with us here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. The number 1 team in Class C hoops, 15-0 entering this weekend. They'll face off with Nashua on Friday, and then a big matchup with number 3 Luster Christian this coming Saturday. Surely we'll keep tabs on how this team does. Now, this is starting to come down the stretch to a degree. We've turned the page to the month of February. Got a couple of big games coming up. But how do you stay focused on the task at hand, thinking about the target that's now on your back as the number 1 ranked team in Class C?
Well, we talk a lot with the guys about, taking one game at a time. I know that's cliche, but it really is, does help us, as we move through the schedule. I think we're fortunate because I feel like, 2 of the better teams in the state are right here in our district with Circle and Luster. And so, we get to compete against them. And fortunately, we've got each of those teams one more time here to close out the season. So I think that helps us stay focused, and just that we've got, some really good games ahead of us that'll help us build into the tournament season as it starts here in the next week or 2.
We were able to visit with the Lions program here a few weeks ago on ESPN Radio, and that's something that they touched on as well, thinking about the topic of just the high level of basketball in that part of Northeast Montana. Now, we've mentioned how you're out there to a degree. You're not going to be able to find the huge box stores and that sort of stuff growing up in these sort of communities, but how do you see it as a token of pride to be able to see these teams from these more rural areas of Montana really come together and put some really good hoops teams on the court?
Well, that's just it. We're so rural that there's just not a lot of things to do, other than come together and do some of this stuff. And so the kids really look forward to it. Even, when we're not having practice, they're usually in the gym shooting around or doing some sort of a game, but it generally revolves around them having a basketball in their hand. And so I think that's the same for a lot of these communities, especially smaller communities up in the more rural areas of the state. That's something where they can do together and get together and spend time with one another and kind of kids being kids.
And obviously some things have to go your way here the next few weeks to be able to get towards Missoula and all that. But is it something that this team really thinks about? Think about a team from Northeast Montana coming down to Missoula and playing in a venue like Dahlberg Arena that's so special that they've seen on television and everything else?
Yeah, I think so. The kids really, try to keep it in perspective, but I think it's in the back of their minds that that's a goal of theirs, and it's been a goal. We took 3rd last year, had a lot of success. Our only loss on the season was to the eventual state champion Box Elder team, and they were a great team. So I think that this has always been a goal of theirs, trying to get back to Missoula. The last time we played a state tournament in Missoula was the COVID year, and we actually were unfortunate to not get the last game in because we were in the state championship and would have played for the state championship there. So been kind of looking forward to getting back there this time around and hopefully completing the tournament and not getting held up by the pandemic.
From out in Scobie, Montana, the head coach of the Spartans boys basketball team, Jason Wolf, with us here on 102.9 ESPN Radio, facing off Thursday with Nashua, and then, of course, number 3 Luster Christian this coming Saturday. Now, you mentioned the Bears, mentioned my time also up on the High Line, very familiar with Box Elder and their success in both boys and girls basketball, but how did that loss last year in Great Falls galvanize this group potentially this year?
Well, it was a tough one. I think we knew when we played them it was going to be a tough game, and I felt like, they were going to be a really tough opponent. And I've known Coach McDonald over there for a long time and, the program that he's had. And so we were expecting a very tough game. The guys took it hard because I think we felt like it was a game that we had a chance to win. In fact, I believe we were ahead at halftime in a close game, and then they pulled away in the second half. So, yeah, it's something that these guys have really been looking forward to, is trying to get that, that second chance at this, knowing that we were going to have, our entire team back. I think that just played well with the way they worked throughout the summer and keeping that goal in mind of getting back to the state tournament.
We'll ask a few things for you then, here visiting with the head coach of the Scobie Spartans with us here on ESPN Radio. They're getting ready for a weekend of action Thursday and Saturday. We'll face off first with Nashua Thursday, but then that big matchup with the Lions on Saturday. Team that you mentioned, you faced both of them already this season. How do you look to build on what you were able to do the first time around, and what do you expect to be different in the matchups to come?
Just watching a lot of film, trying to learn from things that happened in the first go round, and knowing that they'll probably make some adjustments from the first time we played them, and trying to anticipate maybe what they'll do, what the matchups look like. But I mentioned that they're great programs there in Luster and Circle, well coached, and we certainly expect to have another good game with both teams here as we close out the season.
Keep tabs on those Spartans and their head coach, Jason Wolf. 15-0, Scobie High School looking to roll towards the Class C state basketball tournament here in Missoula. We got you covered on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Jason, thanks for spending some time with us, and hope to see you here in Missoula in a few weeks.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Good job, Jeff. Thanks to Jason Wolf for joining us, and good luck to the Scobie boys. I love when any story is great, but you have one that's, a small town that's experiencing a resurgence of success, which is really cool. Like, they have had a ton of success there in Scobie, in golf, in football. They won the 8-man title this last year. And last year, as Jeff implied there, they lost in the state tournament. They were undefeated when they lost that game. They'd won like 21 or 22 games in a row, and then they lost to Box Elder, and they still managed to get third, which is pretty cool. But going undefeated is hard. That's why there's only 3 teams left in the entire state, and the Scobie boys are one of them. Class C Spotlight, probably presented by Valley Christian Schools of Missoula, as well as Wayne Dalton. Appreciate both those fine folks for stepping up and helping us support all things Class C. We choose a different classification to focus on each year, each winter, just based on, because we are statewide, but we are in Missoula right now. So whoever's coming to Missoula, that's the classification we choose to focus on. We just in terms of these segments, right? We also have, of course, coverage of AA, A, and B as well, across the board. So that's why we're doing Class C this year. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Catch you on the other side. Take you home. Don't change it. Keep it right here. ESPN Missoula.
Cold weather cravings? The Montana Club has got you covered with scratch-made comfort food to match every craving. From perfectly grilled steaks to satisfying salads, they're ready to handle your hunger. So grab a table with a reservation or keep it casual and order delivery straight to your door. Great food made easy. Visit MontanaClub.com to order or reserve and come warm up at your Montana Club. Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Canby Tap House is well known around the Garden City for its peerless selection of draft beers. Breakfast at Canby is also worth a sterling reputation. From breakfast burritos to chicken fried steak to delicious daily specials, Canby Tap House has excellent breakfast for your weekend brunch appetite. Canby also has a full coffee bar offering bold and delicious espresso and other specialty coffee drinks. Canby Tap House is family friendly and conveniently located on Higgins, across from South Campus Stadium and Dornblazer Field. Come enjoy the best breakfast in town at Canby Tap House.
The Trailhead Gambler Sale is going on now. It's round one and we have incredible deals to get the sale rocking. Remaining carryover skis from last season are all 40 to 50% off. Heel and Ox camp furniture is 50% off. And the Fubuki boots, they're going fast at 50% off. Lots of backcountry ski gear like avalanche beacons, probes, shovels, as well as climbing skins, boots, and bindings are all marked down. The Trailhead Gambler Sale round one is going on now at the Trailhead downtown on Front, next to the parking structure, where the first hour, nights, and weekends are always free to park.
Red's Bar is a beloved institution in downtown Missoula. Whether you want to watch a game, enjoy a cold beer, spend time with friendly faces, or simply wind down, the welcoming atmosphere and wonderful staff at Red's will make you feel right at home. Red's features 14 HD TVs and 2 full-service bars. Stop by and grab a beer with friends while you watch your favorite team play and check out the extensive collection of awesome sports memorabilia. Red's Bar in downtown Missoula, the friendliest sports bar in town.
Make the switch to Farmer State Bank and you'll instantly become part of something bigger, something different, something more. That's because we are a community bank. That means local banking, local decision-making, local support for the people, businesses, and communities you care about. Switch to local. Switch to Farmer State Bank, your Montana bank since 1907. An equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Victor Public Schools and Hellgate Elementary are taking action to prevent youth suicide. From February 2nd through the 23rd, they're leading a safe storage campaign to help families securely store firearms. In Montana, nearly 7 in 10 youth suicides involve a gun, and the risk is up to 10 times higher when firearms aren't locked. Free trigger and cable locks will be available at both schools for parents and guardians. Adults can also enter to win a biometric safe, because one simple step at home can save a life. This safe storage campaign reflects a shared community commitment to proactive, practical steps that save lives and support youth well-being.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
I said a couple weeks ago that we were going to just keep on doing football even when football was over? Well, that was honest truth. I just didn't think it was going to go like this. I understand people want there's a constant fervor for football, and football's not even done yet. The Super Bowl's on Sunday. Who would have thought? I was thinking this with talking to my brother earlier today. There's only a few scoops that could have possibly happened in Montana that would overshadow the Super Bowl. Like if Brent Vegan just backdoor took a different job, or Bobby Houck retires, what else? What else rivals the Super Bowl? Even other coaching changes or something like that, those would be big news, but it wouldn't be overshadowing the conversations everywhere. But this retirement, because of the timing, because of the prestige of the person, because of the institution that Bobby Houck is at, the institution that is the University of Montana, all of those factors are playing in to make this just a giant story and a giant conversation piece. And here's the thing. I know that Grizz people are very, very interested in this. I know Bobcat people are too, because Bobby Houck has been the head coach for the better part of the last 22 years at the University of Montana. So, again, we are going to keep talking football year-round because that's what we do, and we're going to do it even more, but I didn't expect it to be like this right now, the first week of February. I thought we were going to be talking football in-state recruiting classes and, whatever Brent Vegan and Bobby Houck had to say about the guys that signed. Not how it's rolling right now. Jam-packed show for you tomorrow. Again, Rajim Seabrook will kick it with us. Carol the Chicken No Sports. Brooks Nuanez talking all things Super Bowl. We're also going to hear from Alexa Coyle, a Grizz soccer alum who is the marketing manager for the Seattle Seahawks and Lumen Field. Should be a fun show. Excited to get it all in, and we'll keep on talking Bobby Kennedy as the new head coach of the Grizz football team as well. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves. Have yourself a wonderful Thursday night. We still have a couple more tickets, so if you want them, 406-888-1029. I'm headed to the Grizz game. We'll have reactions from that tomorrow as well. See you at 4 p.m. Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio. The Press Box is the place to watch all your favorite sports. In the heart of Grizz country, Press Box has great food and drinks with happy hour and lunch specials every weekday. Don't forget, Press Box has the best happy hour deal in town, Monday through Friday, between 4 and 6, $3 draft beers. That's right, any draft beer at the Press Box, from domestic light beers to IPAs to everything in between, $3 drafts between 4 and 6, Monday through Friday at the Press Box. Press Box also has 2 sports bet machines, so you can always get your bets in before the game starts. The Press Box on Broadway and Van Buren in Missoula.
Celebrate Galentine's Day, Friday, February 13th at the Residence Inn from 5 to 8 p.m. Shop local vendors, enjoy cocktail specials, and celebrate your gals. Admission is free, or you can purchase a ticket that includes a raffle entry, floral bouquet creation, various crafts, and 1 free drink. Don't miss this fun night to relax, craft, shop, and unwind with your besties. The Galentine's Sip and Shop, Friday, February 13th from 5 to 8 p.m. Visit eventbrite.com to purchase tickets, or tickets will be available at the door.
Did you know that if you have dense breasts, or any breasts for that matter, a screening mammogram or ultrasound can miss up to half of breast cancers? At Montana Imaging Center in Missoula, we now offer screening breast MRI, the best way to find cancer early. Tell your doctor you'd like to have a referral sent to Montana Imaging Center, where you'll save up to 90% on breast MRIs. Fridays at Montana Imaging Center, join us for Breast Fridays Ever. It's a relaxing non-hospital screening experience with chocolates, champagne, and sometimes an emotional support puppy running around. Visit montanaimaging.com for more info.
If you're in search of a trading card of your favorite player, or if your kids are, swing into Zootown Sports Cards. If there's a card of a player you're searching for, Zootown Sports Cards has the cards. With an almost endless collection of singles and inserts, whatever and whoever you're in the market for, Zootown Sports Cards has it. 1990s NBA stars, Zootown has it. 2000s football players, Zootown has it. And looking through the collection is half of the fun. Come check out all of what Zootown Sports Cards has to offer in the Stevens Center in Missoula.
All Nations Health Center is committed to keeping you vibrant and full of energy by supporting your physical, mental, and spiritual health. All Nations Health Center in Missoula offers a variety of services to the Indigenous and non-Indigenous people of Western Montana. All Nations offers primary care doctors, behavioral health services, mental health counseling, and even dental. All Nations currently serves more than 2,000 registered clients who are proud Indigenous people. For more information about how All Nations Health Center can help you, visit allnations.health.
Attention Missoula and Ravalli County nonprofits. Registration is now open for the Missoula and Bitterroot Gives, a 26-hour online celebration of our nonprofit community hosted by Missoula Community Foundation. This is an opportunity to raise funds and awareness for your organization through an online platform that engage your supporters and the entire community. Participating nonprofits can win matching dollars, prizes, and more during the Day of Giving on April 30th and May 1st. Register your Missoula and Ravalli County nonprofit today at missoulagives.org.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula.
Today, indicted Guardians pitcher Emmanuel Clase is accused of throwing suspicious pitches to benefit bettors in at least 48 games from 2023 to 2025. He and fellow Cleveland pitcher Luis Ortiz both pleaded not guilty to various charges, including money laundering conspiracy. The NBA's Eastern Conference leading Pistons hosting the Wizards on this Thursday night. Rough start for Detroit, trailing Washington 51-31 second quarter. Orlando, which has won 8 straight versus Brooklyn, has a 44-25 lead on the Nets in the second quarter. 2 games in the first quarter, Raptors leading the Bulls 23-13 and the Jazz up 18-17 on the Hawks in Atlanta. Although he was ready to move on, the Bucks chose to not trade Giannis Antetokounmpo on this trade deadline day. Once his calf's recovered, Giannis expects to play again this season. He and the Bucks will revisit a potential trade this offseason. So now, where do things stand for Milwaukee? ESPN NBA insider Ryan Windhorst.
You have a team that when Giannis doesn't play is frankly one of the worst teams in the league, and when he does play is 500. And what you really need is your draft pick to improve. So I don't know how you're going to negotiate this with Giannis, but if you've made the decision not to trade for him, and your reasoning is that you think you can get good enough through the offseason to get better, the only way forward is to tank the rest of the season.
Last night
you can't take when Giannis plays.
Last night of games in the NHL before the Olympic break. Avery Hayes, first NHL game, first shot, first goal. He's got a second goal tonight as well. Penguins leading the Sabres 2-1 first intermission. Hurricanes up 1-0 after one on the Rangers on Andrei Svechnikov's 21st goal of the season.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up on Monday's show, Seahawk fan and actor Josh Lucas will join us in studio, and so will Nikolai Coster-Waldau, the Kingslayer from Game of Thrones. That's Monday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
Sports radio for Darby, Hamilton, Stevensville, Corvallis, Victor, and Missoula. Western Montana plays here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
This is Amber and Ian on ESPN Radio. Fireball.
Super Bowl week. We are getting you ready for Super Bowl 60 here on Amber and Ian, a family affair for us. Ian's little brother on the coaching staff for the Seattle Seahawks. And we are Seahawks fans this week. We are loud and proud about it. Ian Fitzsimmons, you can find him at Ian Fitz ESPN. You can find me, Amber Wilson, at Amber W Sports. We are presented to you by Progressive Insurance. So in part of getting you guys ready for Super Bowl 60, we want to talk to somebody who has all types of experience in the NFL, the highest levels of the game. Let's bring in Scott Pioli. He's been 26 years as an NFL general manager and a vice president, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time NFL Executive of the Year. And Scott, we're going to get to all of the Super Bowl stuff with you, but I actually want to start in a different place. I know you were in D.C. yesterday for National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and about 31 years ago when I was a kid, I remember coming home, having a conversation with my big brother. He was asking me what I want to be when I grow up. I said, I think I decided, because I was obsessed with football growing up. And I said, I want to be a football coach. And he informed me that that probably wasn't going to happen because I was a girl. And that was true 30-something years ago. And the reason I bring this up is because you have the Scott Pioli and Family Fund for women football coaches, where you are very much trying to change that. And I know it has certainly changed some since I was a child. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, Amber, it's not too late. Yeah, you can come in and start coaching some ball.
There you go. I might take you up on that.
Thanks to both of you for having me. Really, I've been so excited about this all day, and I really appreciate that you want to start here because, yeah. So we spent the day. I'm on the board of the Women's Sports Foundation, which was founded by Billie Jean King, 52 years ago, and I've been on the board for about 9 years. But yesterday there was a group of us from the foundation, staff, also trustees like myself, and then some of our athletes. And we spent the day in meetings on the Hill with a number of senators and representatives and their staff, talking about the current state of college athletics and the impact on the future of women's sports and truthfully on Olympic sports too, right? Men's and women's, because of the finances and the way that things are, there's going to be this impact that happens. So we were discussing a lot of that and how it's going to impact Title IX. And again, it's the college sports have been not only a training ground for the pros and developmental league for the pros, but also for our Olympians and our Olympic sports. And, Amber, I really appreciate you bringing up our fund. It was something that we started years ago, and Billie Jean and the foundation allowed us to create it at the Women's Sports Foundation, and it was done because there was many of you probably, I'm sure, remember Katie Sowers, who was the first full-time female coach in the NFL. She was an intern for us at the Falcons, and we hired her, and she needed some financial help because she was in an entry-level position, like many of us have been in every industry. And my wife and I decided to help her out, and from that was born this idea of creating a grant, for women that want to be football coaches and or football scouts. And if you look at the list of the people that have had it, whether it was Jennifer King, and again, I mentioned Katie Sowers, Hannah Burnett, who's a full-time scout with the New York Giants, it's been a really important thing. But I'll tell you this, something else really, really cool happened yesterday on National Girls and Women's Sports Day. We got word yesterday morning as we were headed over to Capitol Hill that the Betty Wall Johnson Foundation, which is run by Woody Johnson and the New York Jets, they announced they were making a $250,000 grant to the Women's Sports Foundation on the day yesterday. But not only money to go, it's going to the Women's Sports Foundation, some is going to the Tara Vanderveer college coaching fund and our fund. So it was an incredible day, and more work needs to be done. Then last night, the other part, the capper though, was we had a discussion in D.C. Danette Layton, who's our CEO of the Women's Sports Foundation. I got to share the stage with Brianna Scurry. Are you guys soccer fans? Do you know Brianna?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Goalkeeper.
Amazing goal. Yeah, exactly right. So it was a cool day, cool night, and the work just needs to be done all the time. I really appreciate you bringing it up, Amber.
Yeah, it really is cool because I know one of Ian's daughters, she's in college now, and she has dreams of, maybe pursuing that world in coaching and just the generational difference, I think, even just from me to her. I mean, when I was a kid and I had that conversation with my brother, he was like, well, let me show you sports broadcasters instead. Let me show you sideline reporters because that's what women do when they're around football. And I'm so glad that it's changed so much.
Hey, Scott.
And your brother probably, he loves you, but that's all that he knew too, right? That wasn't his fault either. And it's just, it's crazy. Why shouldn't you have been able to be a coach, Amber?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And Ian, I did hear about your daughter. Am I allowed to say where she's at school? I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about it all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a duck, right? She should. Yep. She needs to get involved. Tell her to check out our grant. If Pop's not going to give her any money, tell her she's got to check out the grant.
She calls Dad cheap. I refer to myself as frugal, Coach. There you go.
There you go. She needs a grant.
Hey, thrifty, exactly.
Hey, on that note, and Scott Pioli joining us here on Amber and Ian here on ESPN Radio, we've seen a general manager, a female general manager in Major League Baseball. When are we going to see a female GM in the National Football League?
It's interesting. I wrote this article several years ago. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago when I was working with NFL Network, and I wrote about Dawn Aponte. And interesting enough, it's crazy the things that happened or came out yesterday, the stuff we talked about on National Girls and Women's Sports Day. I really felt all along that Dawn Aponte should have been the first GM. I worked with her at the New York Jets in 97, 98, 99. And that would be in 1997 for some of you young fans. And she was one of our accountants. And Mike Tannenbaum and I were, I was doing pro personnel, and Coach Parcells came in, and Dick Haley. And Dawn was the person who did all the reconciliation of the books and kept us straight on where things were. And she learned, as we were going on, she started learning the salary cap. Then she started teaching us things. And it was an amazing thing is when we were all working together back then, Dawn was married. She's still married. She was married, had 2 kids, working full-time at the Jets, going to law school, and pregnant with twins. Mm-hmm. So you Giant fans out there who are about to... Dawn Aponte is an absolute badass.
Yep.
And she's great at her job. And I really thought she was going to be the first GM. She's got this other role. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the GM title, but it sounds like her role is going to be pretty significant. And she's been around some great football people. Parcells, I know, worked with her not only at the Jets and actually gave her the promotion within the Jets, but he hired her when he was down at the Dolphins, too. So I don't know when someone's going to get the title. Like I said, I think it should have come. The time has come or is passed. But it's not. It won't be long, Ian. It really won't be. Maybe it'll be your daughter.
Yeah, there you go. It very well may be. Please, Ian's like, please go make money. So you stop taking my
when he's in diapers.
But you're going to call her cheap when she's not giving you any scratch.
There you go. Absolutely. But Donna Ponte is a total bad A of a woman. She worked at the Dolphins. I worked at the Dolphins throughout law school in their legal department. She was there when I was there, and man, she is an inspirational person. So I'm glad you brought her up. Scott Pioli, 26-year NFL general manager, vice president, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time executive of the year. If I have to say that every single time I introduce you, Scott, I'm gonna start getting tongue twisted because your resume is something. But what
you're leaving out that I started off as a slappy, and I was a slappy for many years before I became anything important.
All these things. For sure. Well, that is certainly always the story, right, of the path to get there. So what we're going to do is we're going to give me a break for a moment so that I can recover and say all those things again on the other side. But we're going to get, when we come back, into the Patriots with you, Sam Darnold's development, all things Super Bowl 60, right here on Amber and Ian.
Coming up on the Friday edition of Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Michelle Smallman, and me, Chris Canty. Super Bowl 60 is finally here. I'll tell you who wins and why. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Access to education changes lives. That's why National University provides flexible online and hybrid programs from associate to doctorate degrees. Since 1971, NU was built to serve non-traditional working and military learners nationwide. NU understands the demands of work, family, and service. Each year, more than 130,000 learners trust National University to move forward. Visit nu.edu to learn more.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from Paul Feinbaum Show.
Old school. Paul, I want to ask you a question. Do you ever take time for yourself? A me day, Paul?
I don't want to sound either too self-serving or disserving, but I cannot remember the last time I had a me day.
You need to do that, brother. You need to take time for yourself. Enjoy yourself for you. Nobody else, just you, brother.
The Paul Feinbaum Show. Weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we'll have a full recap of the NBA trade deadline and, of course, get you ready for Patriots, Seahawks, Super Bowl 60. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
You run it back with this group within the New York Knicks. A lot of people coming into the season expected the Knicks to make the NBA Finals, come out of the Eastern Conference. If you come up short, then you exhaust the other possibilities. And guess who else is in that possibility? Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. College Basketball Saturday on ESPN Radio. It's an ACC showdown in Charlottesville.
Left wing three, this time won't go.
The Syracuse Orange go head-to-head against the 18th-ranked Virginia Cavaliers. For the win! Syracuse at number 18, Virginia. Coverage begins Saturday morning at 11:30 Eastern, with tip-off at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Sports radio for Florence, Lolo, Frenchtown, Arley, St. Ignatius, and Missoula. Western Montana plays here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Rolling along here on Amber and we were just having an incredible conversation with Scott Pioli, 5-time NFL Executive of the Year. He spent 26 years in the league as a general manager, as a vice president. And oh, by the way, he won 3 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. So let's bring Scott back in. And Scott, let's start with New England. Mike Vrabel, a man that you know as well as anybody. Are you surprised that Vrabes has been able to do this quickly with this team?
I'll say this. I'm not surprised that he's been able to do it. I am a little surprised anytime anyone does it this quickly. But, let's start with the fact that he's a terrific coach. He never should have been fired from the last job. And he's terrific. He's smart. He communicates well. He communicates openly, honestly. And he knows how to – all players really care about is what is a coach going to do to make them better and make them more valuable, and Mike knows how to do that. And he's truly, truly passionate about the game. He's doing a terrific job. I'm so happy for him.
A.J. Hawk's going to join us coming up in about 45 minutes. And he used to train with Vrabel back in the day when he was actually still playing for the Buckeyes. He's got stories about. I know you've got stories also. Fire away. What is one of your favorite Vrabel stories from your time together?
Well, before I give the favorites, I remember the stories of Vrabel coming out. He was best friends and pals with Luke Fickell, and they were both wrestlers. Fickell was a state champion wrestler. And there were stories that came out of there from Coach Cooper's staff about these guys when they were coming out of college, how they would have these 2 a.m. beverage-filled wrestling matches to the death and just trash places. And people talked about how epic they were. But, one of my favorite real stories, I was fortunate to be with him for the 8 years he was with the Patriots. We signed him as a free agent. And then when I left the Patriots to go to the Chiefs, I had by good word that Bill was getting ready to release him. So I traded for both he and Matt Castle, and he came out. We spent 2 more years together before he retired. But I go back to our first Super Bowl, and we're having this ring party, the ring ceremony that Mr. Kraft has. And after they give out the rings, everyone's walking around and celebrating, and I get up, and I'm hugging a few guys, and Vrabel and Larry Izzo kind of corner me. And I'm telling you what, they had it wasn't just beer they were drinking that night. They're liquored up pretty good. And they both had these huge dips in, and they're close talking, and both of them got, lazy eyes that are half closed. Pioli, you got us for about nothing. You're going to get ready to pay. And Izzo would go, hey, Braves, what's he got to do? Braves would go, pay the man. And they're yelling, they're close talking to me. They're spitting. They got big dips in their mouth, and they were starting to get out of control. So I work my way away, and I get back to the table that I'm sitting at with Bear Jarian and his wife and my wife, and I was dressed in this nice light-colored suit, nice pink shirt, nice pinkish tie, when monochromatic was cool, I guess. And my wife looks at me. She goes, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Look at yourself." And I looked down, and my entire pink shirt is covered. They were dipping Copenhagen. Any of you folks that dip Copenhagen know that little pieces can come flying out.
Oh, Copenhagen long cut. Yep. That's it.
No, but this was a shortcut. So I had these little dots.
Oh, no.
Totally ruined my shirt. Totally ruined my suit. I told Vrabel we might pay him the next time, but I was going to get my suit money back at him for that one. But I'll tell you another really cool Mike Vrabel story. When I traded for him, he had to come in, take the physical, and he flew in, took the physical to make sure that the trade would go through. And he didn't come up to my office when he was supposed to afterwards. And I was like, wow, that's weird. I called him. He wouldn't take my call. And I called his agent, Neil Cormich, and Neil says, Scott, Mike's really pissed off at you, and his wife, Jen's, even more pissed. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, he'll tell you about it. And it was a great learning experience for me, because even after all those years, we work in this league, in this situation where we have so much control over the players' rights. And Mike finally decided to talk to me after a couple of days, and he said, listen, Scott, I love you, but I really don't want to talk to you for the next couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. He said, I'm here, I'm staying. He said, and then he looked me dead in the eye and says, we're family. He says, But I really think after all these years and after all the time we spent together, all the winning we did together, that I would have had the right, if I was going to be with the Patriots, to go to whatever team I wanted to go to. I don't appreciate that you traded for me. And it was one of those moments, sometimes we get in this game when we forget about the human element and the human component, and you just want to do what you think is best for the team, and sometimes that isn't what's best for the player or one of the other employees. But I'll never forget that moment, because it really did take Mike a little time to want to come talk to me. And I tell that story for a couple reasons, but one of the other reasons is because that's who Mike is. It doesn't matter who you are, he's going to speak his truth. And even if it makes someone uncomfortable, and he did it in he was confrontational, but he wasn't aggressive. He wasn't mean. He wasn't rude. He wasn't a jerk. He was very thoughtful. And it was a really cool moment for mine in his relationship. And funny, after I was fired, he was one of the first people to reach out to me and make sure I was okay, and asked me to come up to Ohio State, where he was coaching at the time, and come stay with he and Jen, because he knew I was going to need a football fix. So those are a couple of my favorite Mike Vrabel stories.
Those are two dandies, to say the least. Scott Pioli joining us here on Amber and Ian on ESPN Radio. The Hall of Fame announcements will be made later tonight. Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft left out of the Hall. What was your reaction when you saw that, Scott?
A little bit of disbelief. I still kind of don't fully believe it. I'm going to wait and hear until the official announcements come out, because I can't believe it, that for both of them, equally, both of them deserve to be in as soon as their opportunities come, because, and to me, my overall feeling is that this is embarrassing for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's embarrassing for the Hall. It's embarrassing for the process, and potentially embarrassing for people if there were people that were trying to make a point, right? Because it's one of two things. It was either the process or people trying to get back or prove whatever point that they had. And if it's the process, all great processes are looked at over and over and over again. That's what great leaders do. There's a leadership group that creates this process, and they should be testing and modeling this out as to what the flaws in the system might be, so something like this doesn't happen. So if there was a flaw in the process, shame on the folks that were either didn't have enough forethought or were too lazy to make sure something like this couldn't happen. If it's about, I really want to believe that it wasn't about people trying to be petty and make a point or prove a point when you've got two people. There's no reason they shouldn't be. So I'm beyond disappointed if we find out tonight or tomorrow night that if this is accurate and true.
It has certainly shed some light on the process for most of us that weren't necessarily familiar with the way that process has changed. Scott Pioli, before we get you out of here, Scott, we only have about a minute left, but I would be amiss if I didn't ask you about the Sam Darnold story, because it's such an unusual one, a quarterback, who was drafted so high, didn't live up to expectations, now on a fifth team. He's in a Super Bowl. What do you think it says about quarterback development, and can you be that patient when you're a general manager?
You need to be. And here's what I'll say. I've always said that player development is circumstantial, and at no other position is it more important or more true that circumstance matters. It matters about your surrounding cast. And I go back to Sam Darnold was not in a good situation for a lot of reasons, and everyone knows. Then he's gotten a couple of different opportunities to show that he can win games. And I go back to how Brady was developed, how Tom, those first couple of years, Tommy was good, but we were winning because of our defense, special teams, and our overall football team. We used a lot of things to help make him a good player, and then he was good enough and made himself better. And I'm not saying it was the system; it was a confluence of circumstance, coaching staff, support staff, and the player, in no particular order, because at the end of the day, it ends with the player. And, the thing is, a lot of these great quarterbacks that are seen a certain way and don't have success initially, but then succeed due to circumstance, seem to also have a great deal of humility at their core.
Scott Pioli, 5-time NFL Executive of the Year, 3-time Super Bowl champ as an executive in the NFL. Scott, we really appreciate your time. This was fascinating.
No, I appreciate you guys having me more than you realize. And thanks so much again for talking about the Women's Sports Foundation.
Are you kidding? Yeah, come on, man. Our pleasure. There's a million things that we still want to talk to you about. We just ran out of time, and we spent half an hour with you. So we'll bring you back next week, Scott. How's that sound?
Man, let's do
That's it. Done and done, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, take care.
I mean, it really is cool when you think about it, because your daughter at Oregon, I mean, this is where this conversation started, but it is really cool that your daughter at Oregon has those aspirations and those dreams, and it doesn't seem crazy. And when I was a kid, it seemed crazy, the idea of wanting to be a football coach at a high level, which is remarkable. So that's how things change, and it's pretty cool. Coming up next here on Amber and Ian, we continue on. It is Super Bowl week. We're getting you ready for Super Bowl 60 all throughout the evening. Plus, we got the NFL awards coming up as well. But coming up next, we're going to sound on, sound off Super Bowl style right here on ESPN Radio.
Coming up on the Friday edition of Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and me, Michelle Smallman. I'll tell you what I need to see from both Drake May and Sam Darnold if they want to lead their team to a win. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we'll have a full recap of the NBA trade deadline and, of course, get you ready for Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl 60. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. John Harbaugh to the Giants, Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons, Sean McDermott fired, on top of course, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh being fired, Jeff Hafley to the Dolphins, Robert Saleh to the Titans. Which surprises you the most?
The McDermott one was the biggest. It felt like he was coaching for his job in a way that we didn't anticipate before.
Check out The Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
College Basketball Saturday on ESPN Radio. It's an ACC showdown in Charlottesville.
Left wing three, this time won't go. And a follow one-handed jam!
The Syracuse Orange go head-to-head against the 18th ranked Virginia Cavaliers.
For the win!
Syracuse at number 18 Virginia. Coverage begins Saturday morning at 11:30 Eastern with tip-off at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man, an 8-episode series, now streaming on Disney+.
A superhero remake, not exactly what we'd expect from an Oscar-winning director.
Simon Williams, audition for Wonder Man.
I'm going to need you to sign this, assuming you don't have superpowers.
I'll never work again if anyone found out.
My lips are sealed.
Marvel Television's Wonder Man. All 8 episodes now streaming, only on Disney+.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Sports radio for Darby, Hamilton, Stevensville, Corvallis, Victor, and Missoula. Western Montana plays here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. According to a court document filed today, indicted Guardians pitcher Emmanuel Clase is accused of throwing suspicious pitches to benefit bettors in at least 48 games from 2023 to 2025. He and fellow Cleveland pitcher Luis Ortiz both pleaded not guilty to various charges, including money laundering conspiracy. Thursday night in the NBA, the East leading Pistons have closed their once 20-point deficit to 4. They trailed the Wizards 56-52 at the half. Also at the half, Magic leading the Nets 56-40, 7.7 rebounds for Jalen Suggs. In the second quarter, Raptors leading the Bulls 56-47. The Hornets going for an 8th straight win tonight, up 21-19 on the Rockets in the first quarter. The Giannis watch has kind of ended. The Bucks had been fielding offers but opted not to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo ahead of today's trade deadline. He expects to play again this season once the calf injury heals. He and the team expected to re-examine a potential deal this offseason. So after all the drama, how will he be perceived by the Bucks locker room? ESPN's Danny Green.
It's really upon him and how he receives the locker room or comes back. Is he going to be involved in practices? Is he going to be on the plane and being around the guys? His energy can dictate where they go and how they feel. I've been in situations where it's been tension, where it's been awkward. A lot of times it is awkward, but that superstar player, that player that wanted to be traded, can make it a lot easier and ease the tension by coming back and being part of the group.
Last night of NHL games ahead of the Olympic break, Avery Hayes' NHL debut has his first 2 NHL goals. Penguins leading the Sabres 3-1 second period. Hurricanes up 1-0 on the Rangers in the second on Andrei Svechnikov's 21st goal of the season.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up on Monday's show, Seahawk fan and actor Josh Lucas will join us in studio, and so will Nikolai Coster-Waldau, the Kingslayer from Game of Thrones. That's Monday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
We're getting you ready for Super Bowl 60. It's a family affair here on Amber and Ian. ESPN Radio. Try that again. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. We are Seattle Seahawks fans around here at Amber and Ian. Ian's brother is coaching for the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl 60. So Ian is out there. He's supporting little bro, but more importantly, he's working for us. He's out there in San Francisco on Radio Row, holding it down. Anything crazy happened now over the last hour and a half we've been doing this show?
It's cleared out a lot. So at this point yesterday, it was still packed. This is about the time that the zoo animals went by. Where
I know. That's what I was hoping you were going to see something crazy today.
So we in case you missed last night's show, we had a giraffe, a zebra, an elephant, and I'm really not sure what the other one was.
Which is
humans
peculiar.
dressed up, just kind of. I mean, maybe a rhino. I'm not really sure. Just walking around and circling this entire convention center, which is enormous. It's a very vast complex where you've got hundreds and hundreds of radio stations and TV stations. CBS is behind me. We have the huge ESPN compound over here, which, by the way, is changing me a little bit when it comes to Media Row. Because I used to be out there with the iguanas. Those are my people, right? Being in here with a green room and access to a bathroom and all... It's
a little different. It's a little different living over here.
Yeah, it's a little different when you and I were covering Super Bowls for me, ESPN Dallas, and you being down in Miami, right?
That's the only way I've done Super Bowls is out there with the iguanas, as you call it. I saw Evan Cohen. He had on social media, he was reflecting because, of course, on Sportsmanlike, there where you are, you're right now in the same set that they are in the mornings that you can watch on ESPN too. And so it's a whole compound around you, and you're in the Airstream mobile studio that we use for College Football Campus Tour. And he was reflecting on social media how for him, he spent so many years on local having to set up his own table. You know, when he gets a credential for Super Bowl, it's this big deal, but you have to go and then you have a table and you're like setting up your own card table and you're putting up your own little banner and you're trying to get people over to do an interview with you on a little box. And that's how it typically works. And then he was saying how unbelievable it is for him to have that moment in his career where now he's there on this, ESPN set. And it sounds like you're having a similar experience, mostly because of the proximity to the bathroom.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's number one.
You're like, hot damn, I made it. There's a bathroom right there.
Snacks. Believe me, if you don't think that I stuffed my backpack with a bunch of snacks from my hotel room, you're nuts. Because that happened. The green room got raided by my fat butt after the show last night, and I woke up with Belvitas. I had Little Debbie snack cakes. Coach Saban, now I understand. I forgot I had not had the Little Debbie oatmeal breakfast cake since I was probably 12, and I crushed 2 of them this morning. So, Coach Saban, I understand why you still eat those every single morning. But right now, it's cleared out. So that, what that tells me? The parties have started.
Yep.
Because
a lot Thursday.
of that's it. So
Thursday
a lot of people
Friday,
rolling
baby.
in. And what did Joe Judge tell us earlier this week? 3-time Super Bowl champion for the Patriots, now assistant head coach, quarterbacks coach for the Ole Miss Rebels. He said on Thursday, that's when it starts to hit you. Wait a minute. That's when all the celebs start rolling in and the parties start cranking up and you're at dinner. And we'll talk to A.J. Hawk about this when he sits down with us coming up in about 30 minutes. But I think that's the feel you get, especially when you're out to dinner and all of a sudden you see, there's Adam Sandler and here's Josh Lucas and here's Chris Pratt. It's a who's who when it comes to celebs and not just former players, but I'm talking like, all of Hollywood descends on this damn thing.
Very cool that you're out there as well, holding it down for us here on Amber and Ian. Right now, he's going to, no zoo animals tonight. For clarification, they were people dressed as zoo animals.
Otherwise known as? No, sorry.
Yeah, no, well, I got in trouble last night for saying the F word. Let's sound on, sound off.
They said it, but what did they really mean?
What are you trying to say to us?
Sound on, sound off. With Amber and Ian.
Did that word rhyme with hurry?
Hurries, yeah.
There you go.
Burries, if you will. So let's make this sound on, sound off Super Bowl edition. Drake May, he is about to play the biggest game of his entire life on Sunday. The Patriots quarterback was asked, was there a point this season when he realized this team was special?
It's hard to maybe pinpoint one exact point. I know probably the win on the road at Buffalo was huge for us. I think just find a way to win that game against a tough opponent, on the road, a team that's been, historically, great in playoffs. Had a playoff. I had a home game, I think win streak and be able to win there. But really, other than that, I think just the continued success on the road has been huge for us. Continued success on the road and trying to find a way to do it one more time here.
He's a remarkable talent, and he's only going to get better and better. We haven't heard about the shoulder in a couple of days now. And I'm still curious to see after that first hit, it's going to happen, how that bad boy reacts. He's had 2 weeks of rest, but when he that first shot on that right shoulder, keep a close eye on it.
Yeah, we had Ben Volen on with us from the Boston Globe, and he said it's a thing. That shoulder, it's a thing. So we will be keeping a close eye on it. I don't think for Drake May, he's been in the league long enough or has the experience enough to frankly be able to recognize that point where the team is special. He's probably just trying to keep his head above water, and obviously he's done a spectacular job of that this season. But I think that for you to know this team's got it, you have to have been in the league for a very long time to even know what it is to have a team who's got it. So I'm not surprised that he didn't have a pinpoint moment, but he did reference their record on the road. They're undefeated on the road, at least for now. We'll see what happens in the Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel, he is the head coach of Drake May and the New England Patriots. He was asked, did your Super Bowl winning year help you prepare this current team? When he won a Super Bowl as a player, does it help you now?
I think I've always tried to use everything that I've been presented with through my career from the time that I started playing football, whether that was that game, so coaching experience, whatever, that season. We were 5-5 and won 9 games after Thanksgiving. So we always talk about how you have to continue to improve as the season goes along to give yourself a chance to make the tournament and be in the playoffs and ultimately get to where we are today. But I don't really draw too many parallels. I don't know what happened in 2000. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened in 2024. I wasn't here. So I just try to focus on where I'm at and being present and doing what I feel like is best for the football team, whether that was as a player or now as a coach.
He draws on every single experience. He'll use something from Bill O'Brien to Bill Belichick to going down the list. It's to teammates, to something maybe Teddy Bruschi came up with. He is He's a sponge, and he's a brilliant, brilliant football mind. Remember, when we was in the Titans, he outsmarted his, Bill Belichick by using a rule that Bill used, against him to win a game when it comes to clock management. Vrabel's just on a whole nother level.
And he gets there because of all the experience. So I don't think for 1 second that him winning a Super Bowl as a player and everything he did as a player doesn't absolutely help and assist him in preparing this team for a Super Bowl. It all